Oh my God, Dirk, you fucking blew the intro here. You just scared the shit out of me. Okay, anyway. Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is PodAwful. So here's the thing. The other day, Dick Masterson and Vito had this big blowout, and things are going bad. All right. The biggest problem in the universe isn't long for this world. Now, I was already going to cover this, but then something very interesting hit my news feed here on Twitter. Eric July. You guys know Eric July, the Rippaverse. He's part of
black based.
He's black. He's based.
Yeah.
He's a comic book man. He's my three favorite things in life: black, based. I shouldn't have started with my middle finger on black.
Shouldn't have. All
right. Yeah. Anyway, tonight on the show, by the way, Eric July will be the guest coming up here very soon. He gets it. He knows I'm joking. So, at Eric D. July. Now, I don't even listen. I am not a fan of comic books. I'm a grown man and I don't read them. Okay. If you do, that's fine. I just don't have the time. I loved them. I used to draw them. I literally thought I was going to be a comic book artist at some point. So I don't know anything about this world, this Comicsgate world. We're in Comicsgate now. And I guess Dick Masterson and Vito are always talking about Eric July, and all these people rip on this guy. And of course, we've been covering Dick Masterson's henchman, Riley, and he goes and he fucks with Eric July. That's what all the Riley stuff is about. Everything we've ever done with Riley is about this guy. Check this out. Eric July dropped a truth nuke on Dick Masterson. It's really incredible. He says, because, Dick Masterson's trying to turn Eric into the new Maddox. And much like Maddox, what Eric normally does is ignore this stuff. He normally doesn't respond. He did like one time. I don't know what happened, but now he's responding. He says, I'll give you my attention this one time. I know this will be the highlight of your last 5 years, and you'll create a lot of content out of it. Your entire narrative hinges on controlling the conversation while I focus on actually running my business, which from all accounts, as far as I can see, he seems pretty successful at making these comic books. I don't know.
His house looks nicer than Dick's.
His what? His house looks nicer than Dick's? Yeah. Riley went back to Eric July's house, and it's like 1,000 times nicer looking than Dick Masterson's. He says, you don't really have anything else to do, and that works to your benefit. That's why you keep lying to people, desperately trying to stay in control of narratives. 0 emails or contacts were ignored. Now, apparently what happened here is, there were legal actions taken. I don't know if it was by Eric, by someone. We're going to get all this cleared up when we talk to Eric later in the show. I don't know anything. But I guess Riley got in legal trouble over this. There was supposed to be a court case. It ended up not happening. People are claiming that Eric July was supposed to show up and he just didn't show up. And Eric is saying, not what happened. I never even got served. So he says 0 emails or contacts were ignored. The screenshot you're showing, which I've never even seen before, doesn't even support your own claim that I stopped responding. If they planned to send me something or drafted it, does not mean that I actually received it, you retard. I was never served. And then he does this. Attached is an email I received before the trial, completely blowing a hole in your argument. And he's got a screenshot here. Let me just go down to that real quick. He's got a screenshot here where you got some guys tagged in the email. It says, this seems to be from a man with a badge. Okay. The last time I saw an email that looked like this, Mersh was reporting me to the cops for making fun of him. So I see an email like this, I start getting scared. It says, I assume the prosecutor has already reached out to each of you, but if not, I just learned the case has been disposed of. So you will not need to be here on Tuesday, 1/21/25. Have a great day. So there it is right there in black and white, plain as day, clear as crystal. He doesn't have to go. No trial ever took place that required us to appear. I've never failed to appear. There was no case that I lost. You've lied about the entire thing. Now, here's an interesting thing that I can't figure out, and I want to talk to Eric about this. Why does it seem like they want Eric to have appeared and to have gotten Riley in? All right, isn't Riley on their side? It seems like they want Riley to get thrown, they want him to throw the chair at him, get him locked up in the slammer, kill him.
That'd be nice.
At absolute worst in this scenario, Eric July did this guy a favor, right? Like that's the most that's the most generous, understanding of this, I think. Now this is where it gets good. Eric says, your comedic career peaked in a Pizza Hut commercial that didn't even air. Which is amazing. Isn't it crazy that Eric July knows about my Pizza Hut commercial scam with Dick Masterson? If you don't know, see my history. If you're new here, by the way, share the show. We're live over at PodAwful.tv is the short link. PodAwful.tv. Share the show. Hit like. Here's the deal. If you don't know my history, Dick Masterson got me kicked off of Patreon simply because he didn't like Maddox. That's it. It's the only reason. And so in retaliation to that, there wasn't much I could do at the time. I had lost my entire business. PodAwful was my job even back then. So I was now destitute. And so I wanted to, fucking... I wanted to end this guy. I'm a killer gorilla. So what I ended up doing was Dick Masterson, he's Hollywood Dax, all right? His biggest dream ever is to be a well-known comedic actor. He thought he was going to be Jim Carrey. And his first big break, and this happened right at the same time, is he got this Pizza Hut commercial, and I got it pulled from the airwaves. Me, by myself, using one YouTube video. Boom, career ended. And Eric July knows about this. He says, not a single reputable film, show, or stand-up special to your name. Not even a good book, really. At best, you're just a... this is amazing. At best, you're just a gay podcaster. You built your entire... Based Black Comics. You built your entire brand piggybacking off of a man you once idolized like a father, Maddox. And then when that dried up, you latched onto me. By the way, let's get Maddox on this episode too. Let's really ruin Dick's day with this one. He's going to be, anytime Eric July does anything, it's content for his show. Do you think he's going to cover this appearance, or am I still Voldemort over there? Let's make it too hard for him to ignore. I'm trying desperately. Let's get Maddox on this episode too. Go tag at Maddox Rules on Twitter. See if we can get him on here. It's time, by the way, for the Maddox redemption arc. I think Maddox has had enough. He's had his shit pushed in too hard, and it's making him a little too loopy. He's getting a little too out there. I think if we get a redemption arc, Maddox, we can make Maddox great again. So he says, Maddox, and then when that dried up, you latched onto me. Now you hover, obsess, lie. And while you allegedly enjoy getting pegged in a cow costume, this is not a joke, people. This is fucking happening right now.
I'm a lol cow.
While you allegedly enjoy getting pegged in a cow costume, JUJUGATE, and blowing dudes at festivals, you'll need to find another bull for your affairs. I'm not interested. You got your homosexual ego bruised. Holy shit. Am I even allowed to read this on YouTube? One video of me, not even mentioning you, covering your nonsensical review, has sent you into a 2-year meltdown where you've wasted thousands of hours crying about me. You can dish out critique.
This has been going on for 2 years?
I can't believe that. That's psycho.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's crazy.
Well, of course, then again, the Dick Masterson stuff with us has been going on since 2016. So you can dish out Mersh dreams. We were making fun of him for that long. You can dish out critiques, but fall apart when yours get dismissed. You being unimportant irritates you. That's so true. And by the way, Eric July has he's got Dick's number. Whether you think Eric's a good guy or you like his comics or not, he, unlike Maddox, has figured out the formula to driving Dick nuts. And it's not a very far drive when you're right there next to the nuts like a dick is. So he says, what really makes you a hoe? Oh my God. I'm so glad we're in with black people now after the last episode, by the way, because this is going to be really good for this episode. You know, black people love PodAwful. What really makes you a hoe is how you operate through others using your, yes, thank you, using your pet retard to do your dirty work. This is a thing that people are only just now starting to figure out. This is what he did with my Patreon. Oh, I never reported your Patreon. Well, no, but you winked and you nodded and you nudged until other people did it. And that's what he's doing with Riley. Your pet retard to do your dirty work. You're not some enemy of mine. You're just a low-effort content farmer desperate to leech off someone with no interest in engaging in this clown show. And by the way, I just want to say this. Again, Eric will be on the episode here in the second half. We'll have him up soon. We got a whole Dick Masterson thing to go through here. He told me I was never going to do another interview. I was never going to talk Dick Masterson ever again on any show. He said, PodAwful gets the exclusive. You know why? Because he knows this hurts Dick Masterson. We got to ask him about that too. He says, that's why you run from people like at PodAwful. My inbox is weeping from the tags and this post blew up. This has got thousands of likes and views and everything. So my inbox is hurt right now. That's why you run from people like at PodAwful who actually have the time to clap back. Wait a second. Is that an insult? Are you saying I got too much time on my hands? Like I don't have a business to run or something? You know what? I'll take them where I can get them. You need another Maddox to stay relevant because nobody actually cares about you. You can't carry anything by yourself. So true. You're a 40-plus-year-old, unaccomplished, unfunny shock jock who gossips like a schoolgirl for engagement. The prom queen. You hide behind the comedian tag to excuse your lies and retardation. This guy is basically going to Dick Masterson. He's doing the limp wrist against the, what do you call this? Hand, the retard hand. You lied about the pull-up narrative, claiming I aimed that at you. As if he said to Dick Masterson, hey, pull up, come up on me. Yet you still sent a pet retard. You lied about your pet retard's case. You lied about our charity involvement, even going so far as to tag the IRS. Wow. Sort of a report type guy. Sort of a job lynch mob type guy. And contact the charity like a Karen, injecting yourself into something that had nothing to do with you, where there was no malpractice. All for content. Because he kind of writes, by the way, like Chat GPT, like only AI normally puts these long hyphens. I don't even know what you call this into a post. I kept looking at this and going, did I accidentally open up Grok? Where there was no malpractice, all for content, because you're boring as shit. And yet we're still here, still building. That pisses you off. Our success is living proof of just how irrelevant and uninfluential you are. You're a reckless drug head, drug drawer, low impulse control degenerate, surrounded by people who reflect the same traits, constantly running from responsibility, stability, decency, and anything resembling a meaningful legacy. And I'll give you that much. In that regard, you're more of a nigga than I could ever be. This is the only time I'm addressing you. You need me, not the other way around. Well, guess what? PodAwful's got the time, baby. Vito, Dick, there's a big falling out. I think I know what Dick is actually secretly mad at Vito about. And coming up in the second half of the program tonight, Eric July, an exclusive interview here on PodAwful just to make Juju mad. Comicsgate, hi, I'm your new guy. Okay? I'm in. And that means you're done for. This is PodAwful.
It's not a crime to enjoy sucking little boys' cocks.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say that.
You can say it. I don't know if it's true, but you can say it. To me, that's a crime, but what do I know? Hi, I'm your host, Jesse P.S. This is PodAwful. Welcome to the program. Happy to be here. We also have Dirk along with here. I'll throw Dirk up on the board here so you guys.
07s.
Dirk, you'll see Dirk in just a second. We also have one of our new favorite characters on PodAwful, Chris. It's Chris.
Hey, Jesse.
Oh, they changed Discord, and now I don't know how some things work. All right, well, yuck. And we also have our live chat room. Let's see what they're saying in the chat room. Whoa, buddy. Oh, people's buddies are getting woed right now. How salacious. Wow, what a freak. Is Hard Ray a rip ahead? There's Dirk, by the way.
That's me.
This is the craziest episode ever. This will be amazing. That was the most savage and thorough beatdown I've ever seen on X. It was a pretty good one. I was very proud to be tagged in that. He actually apologized to me before I even had a chance to say anything or respond or even knew what was happening. Eric sent me a DM. He was like, I'm sorry for tagging you. I know that just exploded your inbox, but it had to be done. And I agree. Hey, classic long intro, by the way. How about that? Is that one of our long ones?
Very nice.
How deep in are we? 17 minutes, maybe? So let's get straight to it because we got plenty to go through here. Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest problem in the universe has been falling apart. What's the biggest problem in the universe? Well, for Dick Masterson, it's PodAwful. I just have a theory. I don't know if this is true. There's no way for me to know for sure. Again, we're live over at podawful.tv. Go share that show. Eric will be on in just a second. I have no way to know for sure, but I believe, Vito keeps showing up on PodAwful, and he keeps enraging Dick over this. And this clip was getting shared around. I saw Sven, our good friend, speaking of comic book artists, our good friend Sven Stoffels was covering this video as well. People have been talking about this. It looks like there's trouble in paradise. Let's take a look.
What era do we live?
Whoa.
I love it.
Cameron for two. What era do we live in this week?
We live in the era of childish things and Dick getting upset when I mention he sells Pokemon cards.
Okay. So that seems like not such a big deal that a guy, but here's the thing. Dick Masterson wants you to believe he is a millionaire and that he lives in Barbie's dream house. Of course, we've seen it. There's a big dirt pile in the front of it. He has a chicken coop out front and
a single dog turd.
A single dog turd, a big chicken coop, and I would say about 80% of the house is garage that is too small for him to park his cuck truck in. And maybe the most amazing part, the driveway, also too small to park the cuck truck in. The cuck truck, of course, filled with trash. So when you reveal, you can already see it on Dick's face right here. We've barely gotten into the clip, and he's upset that Vito is saying this again. And of course he is. Finding out that a guy who should be making, $20,000 a month on Patreon? Does he still fake that number, by the way? It's been a rumor. It's been a theory for a long time that he fakes his Patreon numbers. Well, maybe this is how. He's out there and he's fighting down Mexican kids, kids like himself. He's fighting down Mexican kids at Costco in order to get them Pokemon cards so he can sell them on the Mexican market.
It's an attack.
You just bring in personal shit. Like, you're just like a typical... Every time you argue with anybody, you bring in other people's personal shit.
Do people not know about Collector Crypt? Is it a secret? I thought you've talked about it.
By the way, what is this? Is that the Dr. Disrespect logo, right? It is, right?
Yeah.
Why is this their brand? To be pedophile? I mean, that's it. That's your brand. Know. You can't... Remember, Dick was like, I don't even have a problem. He said this privately to my friend Ryan. He said, I don't even have a problem with Jesse. I just wish he'd stop calling me a pedophile. And Dick, that's not the cuties thing, the lolly art, the Dr. Disrespect. Listen, I don't care how many years he spent in medical school. You can't have his flag inside your house anymore. Okay? You and Mersh both making this your personality is so strange. That's not on me. You're selling Pokemon cards to children and you're waving the Dr. Disrespect banner.
Oh,
That's looking bad.
Bring in other people's personal shit when you are losing an argument. That's you.
What?
That's you. That's you to a T. And you're laughing with duper's delight because you know it's fucking true.
Can you make a list of what is like too personal?
By the way, if you want to call into the show, podawful.com/cult, join our Discord, and you can jump in the call-in channel, and we'll drag you on air here.
For me to bring up on the show?
It doesn't matter. You'll do it. Like, this is the thing about you. You will just do it no matter what, and then act cute when you get caught doing it.
So
you want to get caught doing it. Everyone's used to it. Everyone knows you're going to do it. Everyone's prepared for it.
So, in your example,
see, this is, you can always tell this is not Dick being a rage Sean, which there's no Sean in it. What's the new guy's name? Did we ever find out? Please say John. Please say John or Mon or Con. I need something that sounds like Sean so I can do the Dick Masterson impression from now on. I don't know how to do it without that. Somebody in the chat figure this out.
Is that
but when he's really mad, you know, it's not the a rage thing. This is real anger. This is real frustration, which understandably so. I mean, being frustrated at Vito is an understandable scenario.
I said you sell Pokemon cards, and that's a personal attack on you.
Yeah. Get fucked. Dean Shock for 2.
Come on!
Thanks for the laughs, boys. Thank you. G Money.
He's going to do that. Yeah. He's going to do that several more times here. I'm so intimately familiar with that.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, I remember that on the kill stream.
The kill stream. Yes, I was going to say, do you know what it's from? So when I was on the kill stream with Dick Masterson, and I revealed the simp texts, he, at one point, he accidentally said that he has a small penis. Okay.
He did, yeah.
I believe this is what he said it to. At some point during this, he said something really embarrassing, and I pointed it out. Dick's move when he wants to get past something that he embarrassed himself on is to go, yeah. So he's going to keep doing that here. That's how you know this is real.
You're such a
G Money Man Pants for $14.92 for 5. 2 more episodes,
so personal.
boys.
It's so
2 more
personal.
episodes until all this toxic positivity makes Vito cry again. Yeah, Vito's dealing with his compulsive hoarding by pretending to be happy. It's amazing. It's doing fucking amazing.
I had a lot of fun last night selling magic cards on the stream.
Yeah.
Whoa! I gotta get that as a drop. Actually, can somebody just record this real quick?
On magic cards on the stream.
Yeah.
I just need yeah. We gotta add that to the. I don't even have a Dick soundboard ready to go right now.
Why are you so negative? Why can't I just be happy? What is this? Pigeon fight. Plumbo for 5. I do want a mother's milk. I am excited. We'll come by my stream tonight where I'll talk about more of Dick's private life. I'm gonna have more personal attacks.
I mean, I do know that you do. Like I've made a decision to cut you out of stuff because I know that you do that.
This is so the first time Vito ever showed up on PodAwful was in a PodAwful show in the Pizza Fund, and we told him face to face. We said, "You understand? You're now persona non grata in his private life. This is over. Any semblance, any idea that you and Dick were friends in real life." And he was like, "No, we're not friends." And I'm like, "No, you're really not friends now. It's done."
If you ever get pressed, you will gush personal shit.
What are you talking about?
In the chat, they say, "Who watches these guys? They need to be arrested." Somebody says, "Sup, Jesse? Hello. Hi, everybody." Did anybody figure out the guy's name? His name's Dap Slappy. That can't be the guy's name.
No way.
The guy's name, that's Dap Slappy. I don't know what that means. Somebody in chat just said Dap Slappy. It's Juan. They're saying the guy's name is Juan. That works. I'll take it.
You are. That's what you do. You're laughing because you know it's fucking true.
I literally...
Yeah. No, I have no defense.
Whoa!
I know.
Okay, all right.
It's a total overreaction.
So you can't.
Yeah. He's so scared. That's a fear tactic right there.
You can't.
Pop quiz for 20. Here's some money for Mother's.
Oh man, that's cool. Something I just noticed. They've got, he just hangs garbage on the walls. This is, if you don't know, if you've never been here before, hi, welcome to PodAwful. We've revealed this many times. Dick's studio, his quote-unquote amazing Barbie's Dream Mansion studio, is literally in an unfinished laundry room in his house. And he gets all this money supposedly on Patreon, but this is what he does with it. And they just hang garbage on the walls. He's got moving blankets on the walls to deaden the sound. Which, what sound? The washer and dryer are in the same room as you. I can hear your delicates. Okay? And I'm not talking about the things you're going, yeah about. I'm not talking about the dirty laundry that Vito is spilling all the time. I just noticed on the wall, they've got a shirt hanging up. That's nice. You got the printed Gildan right there. That's, hey, quality. That's when you know you got a quality product going on here. The Dick Show. Or what is this? The Biggest Problem. Nobody watches The Dick Show, by the way. You notice that? When was the last time we talked about The Dick Show? Nobody clips The Dick Show.
No one cares.
It's done. It's done. He tries to act like nobody reads Eric July's comic books. I see on my timeline all the time people talking about this guy's comic in a positive way, by the way. Talking about buying this guy's comic books. And again, I've never seen them. I don't know. But then I see Dick tweet out like, hey, latest episode of The Dick Show, 4 likes. You know, it's like you have
no engagement either.
You have like
funny.
Tens or I don't know how many thousands of followers on Twitter. You get no engagement. He gets engagement on everything else. If he talks about Eric July, it's engagement city. He talks about that terrible show that nobody watches. Nothing. It's Ghost Town.
Just throw it out instead of shipping it to me.
I think I'm pretty good about
Blue
not bringing up private shit or personal shit.
No, you're totally the worst.
What did I ever bring up that was
Vito's
personal?
Guy is Cradle for 3. Vito just released the comic already. No one gives a fuck about the comic anymore. Pay off the Swiss for 5 for nothing.
True.
Thank you. Connor,
he's right about
for
that.
2. I need a voicemail message. Vito release Super Killer.
So Vito Vito is now, legally speaking, a fucking thief. He hasn't released his comic book, which he put out as a GoFundMe or whatever, right? It was a Kickstarter. And no, there is no comic. It's been years and there's no comic. Meanwhile, I follow Vito on Twitter. Every day he's talking about what stocks he's putting money into. Hey, follow Vito's stock tips and his crypto tips. Where do you think that money went? So that's thievery. You stole from those people now.
You've talked about
and Vito will talk shit about Eric July. Eric July he did the unthinkable. He did the thing that is impossible to do. He made a Kickstarter and he followed through on it. Okay? It's never been
rare.
tried.
Crazy.
It's never happened. We've been talking about this for years. Every I know 3 fundraisers ever that were real. Okay? Eric July, I gotta stop doing that. I know 3 fundraisers ever that were real. Mine, I did one, okay, years and years and years ago to get my first mixer. And guess what? I bought a mixer with the money. Now here we are, by the way. Years later, I've never done another what do they call them? Crowdfunds. I've never done another crowdfund ever. I did it. I got the mixer. Who else? Sven Stoffels. He did a comic book Kickstarter or whatever, or Indiegogo, whatever it was. He made the comic book. Guess what? And this is what you're supposed to do. He made the comic book before the crowdfund. It was just to get it printed. You basically were just buying the book through the crowdfund. The third guy, Eric July. Whatever you want to say about the guy, he did the impossible. He did a real crowdfund. Wasn't a ripoff. People got what they were looking for, what they wanted out of it. I've seen people say, I love these comics. Where is Super Killer?
That's not like
MIA.
secret, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking.
Yeah. I can't talk about the Pokemon.
You've talked about Collector Crypt. That's not like secret, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking genuinely.
We should. Oh, genuinely. Oh, I'm asking genuinely now. This is me being so genuine.
I thought you've talked about it.
Vote me into a conversation about this so we can litigate it. Here we go. Oh, what's the game where we smash?
All right, so let's skip ahead here. So I don't know, they've got some bit where Vito gets a present from somebody. Now watch this.
I mean, we got the second camera set up.
I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. This is going a little slow. Is that for everybody? Are we all good with just a little bit of playback speed added here? Ooh, I can do custom now. Isn't that nice? Let's do a custom speed. 1.1 times speed.
Can you smash? Oh God! Oh, don't smash the button! No, not a Neo Geo! No! That's cool.
So the bit is that Vito gets a present and then it's destroyed instantly. It's a nice thing that he thinks that he likes. Now, Vito knew. He knew what was going. This is a planned bit. This is a Keemstar style lol cow live fake bit. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen this week? Oh, Boogie's in trouble again. And again, Dick is so jealous of Keemstar. So he wants so badly for Vito to be his Boogie. So this is the bit. Here's the thing, though. Those hammer strikes, he's pretending that's Vito's head.
We got the second.
This is real anger.
Camera set up. Why don't we smash? Can you smash? Oh God! Oh, don't smash the button!
That's why Vito says, "Oh God." Dick was like projecting onto that box Vito's head so hard Vito could feel it. You know, in this, he projected it onto that box the same way Vito is always projecting a big floating turkey leg over top of every person he sees, imagining himself stranded on an island.
No, not a Neo Geo, no!
Okay, we can skip this part now as well. Just go right ahead here.
Oh no! Oh no! It's the 40th anniversary Neo Geo Mini.
Oh, Dick's taking off his costume. By the way, oh no! I guess the pirate part of the show again because Maddox, because the man's life is the man is having a child with a woman who drank Maddox's cum.
Oh God!
All right, who's the cuck? I don't know. I can't do the math anymore on this. You either get it or you don't. You're either on that side or you're not. All right. This man is going to father a child with a woman who knows what Maddox's butthole tastes like. You think Maddox wasn't riding shotgun on top of her fucking face? I mean, I don't know what kind of things Maddox gets up to. What do you think caused that splotch on his head, though? Something. You're into some sort of proclivity if, you know, your skin is turning brown, is all I'm saying. So, again, nothing to say about any current or future guests. What I'm
supposed
saying,
to get black viewers, Jesse. Come on.
Well, if you start out one color and you turn into another one, there's something happening. You know, it's either you're Michael Jackson, you have vitiligo, or you're Maddox and Dick's wife ate your butt out. That's just what it is. Those are I'm not a doctor. What do I know?
Oh, at the HDMI, you smashed the screen. It's not usable at all. You can play.
Okay. Oh boy, you're sad. You're actually sad over it.
You want everyone to see what you did to my tiny little arcade machine?
You did it. You could have just got on the scale.
I know, but
this is one of the first ones somebody sent in.
That you were like, this is cool, and he would like this?
Yes. It looked cool.
It did look cool.
Yeah, loud equals funny. This is some classic loud equals funny.
You destroyed the box, though. Why'd you destroy the box?
Funnier.
Now we got
because he was a rage.
Get another box.
Oh, another
zany hijinks, they say in the show.
What an episode. Well,
I looked.
Now tell me, does this how much of this is Dick doing the bit, and how much of this is true frustration? You can see it in his eyes.
Expensive.
Yeah, things like
as his eyes narrow in on his face, as they become a single point in space.
$80. It's a nice thing.
Oh, it's $80? $80
to $100.
As his hairline shifts yet again, the widow's peak just travels It travels across his head like, you know, like he's flatlining in a hospital.
Well, start a good toy. Are the batteries still good? I'll take the USB cord. I can use that.
Cut your hair, gay guy.
Confirmed.
Nice. I always get a nice little USB-C cord out of it.
Stickers.
Ooh, okay.
Confirmed. Yeah, it is legally confirmed. Eric July legally confirmed, right? That he's a gay guy.
Yeah,
Is that what happened?
Yeah. He did. Yeah, that happened.
That's crazy.
Hey, the stickers are still good.
There you go.
Well, I'm very excited for
Hackamania?
our ongoing podcast relationship, which is full.
Wow. So Dick tries to make it a plug. He wants to get out of this so bad. He knows what Vito's about to do, because this is what Vito. He's right. This is what Vito does. But he wants to make it a plug. Now, Hackamania is, of course, an event for the Dabblerverse, which is it's the Dabble. It might as well be called Dabbler Mania. Let's be real about it. It's hosted by a friend of the show, Pat Melton, I call him. And Patrick Melton hosts this thing, and I may see some other guy, I don't know. And Dick Masterson and Vito are going to be there. They were there last year. I got a personal invite last year to come to Hackamania by Patrick just to fuck with these guys. And I said, do I want to go to Vegas for that? Really? It seems expensive and unnecessary. I'm doing it this year. I'm going to be there. Okay. And I know Dick is watching this episode, so keep plugging Hackamania. I'm going to be there.
Full of joy and trust.
Nice.
No, there's none. There's
How
no
is there
trust.
none? Why
There's
is there no trust?
Nah, you can't trust
And you know who else is going to be there? Brian Allen Fortune.
liberals. You really can't.
Okay.
You really can't trust them.
So if I become more of a Trump guy, you can...
No. You liberals
There's
will really
no
fuck
trust.
You. No.
How have I fucked you? Who fucked you? How did I fuck you in any way?
Vito, you got to learn to. Well, I mean, you don't, but you learn to see things coming a mile away.
You are just projecting past betrayals onto me.
Like that gaslighting shit.
Okay.
Exactly what you're doing now. You're just like, no.
So you're waiting for me to make a documentary about all the things you've done.
I'm not waiting for shit. I'm not waiting for shit.
I feel like I'm being judged for the sins of other individuals.
No, it's
Who are these individuals? What is happening?
you.
What did I do?
You throw people under the bus.
Who?
And you fuck.
Who?
Okay, now at this point, Dick needs to provide. These are the laws of argumentation. At this point, Dick needs to provide one example, or he's a gay woman making up things, and we're being gaslit. And remember, gaslighting isn't real. Gaslighting isn't real. Gaslighting isn't real.
Isn't real.
Unless a woman is doing it to a man, and then it is real. Is real. So, in this case, Dick, men are better than women. He is a female brain. He sucks. He fucks. Ask Craigslist. If he doesn't provide a single example, he is gaslighting Vito.
Everybody.
You always do
Everybody.
that. You always
Everybody.
do that. Everybody.
Yeah.
They never have a new guy, by the way. It's always 75 dickheads, 64 Vito files. This show isn't even grow. They've got their fan base, but there's not a single new guy ever joining.
That's right. It's
Who
true.
have I thrown under the bus?
Every single person
Name one.
that I've seen you argue with,
One
you
example.
rope in other people's personal shit.
Now, he means him. You don't get to just lie and imply about vague other existing people. Give one example.
Didn't rope in anything personal. There's nothing
Yes, you
personal.
do. Yes, you do.
What
I've seen
personal
it.
thing? Okay.
I've seen
And the personal thing he's talking about here is, of course, Juju. He's talking about Juju the Cow. Just in case you're new, Dick Masterson is a sexual furry. He is a gay sexual furry, despite the fact that he's got a wife and a soon-to-be other man's child he will be taking care of, which is a brave thing to do, according to Rufio. We should maybe cover that video, actually. Dick Masterson dresses up as a cow that he has nicknamed Juju. Now, how does that involve Vito? Well, number one, Vito, we know, sucks off guys as well. So maybe it does literally involve Vito.
Trans people, sir.
There's well, listen, trans people are guys too, okay? And it doesn't matter if your cock is made of what God gave you or what God gave you on your forearm. A cock's a cock. And I've always said that. So I've been saying that. My grandpa used to say that. I said that since I was a baby. My grandpa used to sit me on his knee and go, "Trust me, sonny boy, a cock's a cock." And I'd say, "Huh? What do you mean, grandpa?" And he'd go, "Look." And he'd roll up his sleeves. And I would go, "Oh my God, where did most of your arm meat go, grandpa?" And he said, "I used to be grandma." Now it turned out I was in a Little Red Riding Hood style situation where this was actually a trans wolf who was trying to eat me. I was saved by a lumberjack or something. Anyway, the point is, Dick Masterson is gay, and Vito has I think, is it 3 times now? 3 times, I believe, Vito has appeared on this program talking about the Juju shit. One time in an after show, joined the pizza fund. I think a second after show he showed up for, and then that time with Ethan Ralph and Milo and all that, which was a great episode.
Ain't it?
And of course, Milo, we scared the shit out of Dick because Milo gave Dick a call and started talking Juju the Cow to him. Go watch the clips on YouTube of this. It's incredible. And then I jump on, I go, "Hi, Dick, it's me, Jesse." Click.
Okay. I've seen it.
I have told you many times, hey, if
He's
there's
seen
ever
it. He's watching PodAwful.
Thing that you think is too personal a topic
watching
to
right
broach
now
on the show,
That's
you can
insulting.
let me know.
It's actually insulting for you to even say that I need to tell you what's too personal.
And by the way, I wear the uniform sleeves rolled up like this, so you know it's all God-given, baby. It's all natural downstairs. Ladies, you got nothing to worry about. You're never going to find an errant forearm hair on my cock.
No.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what's too personal.
That's what's dangerous about you. You pretend not to know.
Sometimes.
And then you fuck people over and you giggle about it.
How have you been fucked over? How on earth are you fucked over by anything
Yes.
you've done?
You couldn't
You're
fuck
not
me over.
fucked over.
You couldn't fuck me over. But
Then
you
there's
do,
no problem.
But you do fuck over
But you can bend me over and fuck me, Sean.
other people
Who have
that you can
I
safely
fucked
fuck
over?
over.
Who?
You fuck people over constantly.
Name one, or else I will tell my psychologist I'm being gaslit.
Every time.
Names.
Names.
For any example.
You fucked over Ethan.
You've got a list of names in front of your face. You can't name one guy. Make it up. Look around the room and go P tier Griffin. I don't care how you do this. Just say, John Asshole or whatever this name is right here.
Van Sciver. When you said
Ethan Van Sciver, by the way. Comicsgate. I don't know anything about Comicsgate. I'm going to need the chat. Maybe somebody can jump in real quick because we're going to have Eric on in like almost 10 minutes here. Maybe somebody can jump in on air, call into the show. PodAwful.com/cult again for that. What is Comicsgate? Because I'm in it now. I've been talking about this like it's Comicsgate. I don't even know if Eric is part of that or not. I know Ethan Van Sciver, the hollow-headed freak, is part of it. Sven is not gonna enjoy this. Everybody Sven likes and everybody he dislikes, it's the opposite for me. So I'm talking shit about he likes Ethan Van Sciver, he likes Dick Masterson. I need Sven to explain some of this stuff to me. What is Comicsgate? What's going on with that? Is Eric actually involved? I'm calling this JUJUGATE, but I don't know if this is even related at all. I really don't.
Oh, he used my notes. That was totally
did not
inappropriate.
fuck him over.
Yes, you did. You totally fucked him over by saying, "Oh, I gave Ethan Van Sciver notes," and then he used them. That is.
I don't think he used them. He decided not to use them.
But
It's
you said
fine.
that.
And
You're
again,
right.
if you don't know Ethan Van Sciver, meet him out behind a dumpster at a pizza place in Lodi, NJ. Okay? Head on over to New Jersey, hang around the backside of a Wendy's, and soon enough, EVS will be around your backside. Ethan Van Sciver. They say on a cool night, if you stand outside, you can hear the wind pass through his fucking ears. Ain't nothing going on behind those eyes. He's Comicsgate, as far as I know.
Was wrong. He didn't use my name.
All right, this guy says Comicsgate is a independent. I don't know if I can read the rest of this comment. You said a independent, and now you've thrown everything you have to say into a wood chipper.
Always wrong. There's no sense. There's no point in arguing with you because you're always.
Somebody says, nah, Rippaverse has nothing to do with Comicsgate. He's not gay for starters. Oh, see, I don't. Everybody's got their little opinions on this. We got people watching right now. They're just waiting for Eric July. Hit like, by the way. Eric's coming on in just a second. Share the show. We want people in here when Eric's on, obviously. Because again, this is going to piss off Dick. At the very bare minimum, if you want to make Dick a rage, you want some content for that show, then you're going to want to share this one, okay? I've got a very special surprise actually for Eric. I got something Eric's gonna love. He's gonna really like this one. But again, somebody come let me know what I can't figure this out by reading chat. Everybody's got their little opinions on comics.
I think I have an idea what it is.
All right, tell me what you think it is.
It's just guys who hated what Marvel and DC were doing, like making it all woke and shit, and they didn't want to do that. So they started their own comics.
Well,
that's all.
Isn't that kind of what Eric is then? Isn't he part of it then? Okay, because I thought it was
in a way he is.
Yeah, I thought it was like guys being like based and red pilled about comics. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what Sven is. I mean, Butch Gilligan is an animal, right?
I still don't even know what Gamergate is, and I'm on the Gamergate Mount Rushmore now. I'm part of the Mount. I want to be on the Mount Rushmore of Comicsgate, okay, and JUJUGATE, by the way. Watch where you put me on that Mount Rushmore, though. I don't want to be too close to certain aspects of it. Hail Chuck, someone says. See, I don't know any of this stuff. I'm going to be learning a lot here tonight. People think I'm having Eric on. It's going to be a ball wash fest. They were like, some guy was like, oh, I'm sure you're going to be really nice, and this is going to be fair and balanced about the guy who's not there to defend himself. It's like, number one, is Eric ever on the Dick show to defend himself? And number two, let me be very clear. Dick Masterson's invited. Okay? You want to come on the show? You're welcome to come on and have your say in all of this. I want to hear what you have to say.
He's fucking wrong. Look at your life. Your life is a testament to your decisions, and it's fucked.
I don't think my life is totally fucked.
Your life is totally fucked. You had listen.
Okay.
You had the dream set up with Superkiller.
Right.
You could have had an amazing comic.
Right.
It could have launched. You could have.
Well, no, he couldn't have because it sucks. Superkiller leaked to some degree. Like, you could see it. I've read it. I read the first issue of Superkiller. It's not very good. And honestly, if he had fulfilled his obligations with it, that would blow because you would have the worst comic book. By the way, it's The Boys. It's, hey, what if The Boys was a boy? That's the entire premise of Superkiller. What if it was one guy who kills superheroes rather than a few guys? And also, he has superpowers. I mean, it's like it's so overwrought, so overdone. You're not clever. Stop trying to, superheroes. We're at a point now where you have to play it straight with a superhero comic. You just have to, if you're gonna do it, it better be a guy saving lives, because that is the most subversive thing you could do at this point with a superhero.
It is, yeah.
There's nothing left with these fucking things anymore. All of the little what ifs, all of the little twists and turns, they've been done. I think that's actually what Eric's comic is. I think Eric's comic is just a straightforward, it's superheroes doing superhero shit. You can't find comics like that anymore. That's all it takes. So yeah, the Superkiller thing never would have been good.
Lived off that shit for years, right? It could have been a big intellectual property.
Right, but I didn't get it out quick enough.
Ruined that.
Didn't get it out quick enough. He says that as if it's out. It's not out. You are a burglar. You need, legally speaking, you should be walking around with a black and white striped shirt on and a little domino mask at all times, carrying a big bag with a $sign on it, on your back, and it says on the bag, other people's money, just to make the point clear. It's like a political cartoon.
Opportunity.
Sure. Well, I don't think it's completely ruined.
It's ruined.
I don't think so.
It's totally fucking ruined. It's over. It's done. No one gives a fuck about Superkiller.
But I give a fuck about Superkillers.
Nobody
That's all
else
that
does.
It's my passion
But you
project.
see, Dick's done what Dick always does. He's wiggled his way out. Provided no examples, now it's about Superkiller. He hit Vito with the one thing where he knew that's going to make it so I don't have to talk about what Vito was talking about anymore. Vito will now
maybe
have
he'll
to
cry on
himself.
camera again.
Maybe he'll cry. Maybe his glasses will fog up so bad that we have to actually bring in scientists to figure out how this is physically, humanly possible.
Project. I want to make it really good, and I'm making it really good.
It's over.
It's not over.
It's over.
It's over for you, maybe. That's fine.
It's over.
Here's the thing. You guys, it's fine. It's over for you.
See, Vito fell for the trap.
But for the people who are into it, and I get messages all the time from people who tell me they're excited to read it. People who didn't back it the first time, they're like, hey, are you going to reopen it? Because I really want to make sure I get a copy. Okay? It's not limited to this.
It's not a real thing.
It is a real
There's nothing coming out.
So
That's
Dick
true.
goes, let me be very clear.
Yeah.
You bring up personal shit and you fuck things up.
Yeah.
And you are now.
That's not personal.
You're
You-
now.
you-
How is it now? Okay. How is
Because
your
you
business?
shilled it for a.
See, Vito tried to bring it back. Dick pushed it aside and called him a thief again.
Shilled it for a fucking year.
Okay, so
you forced everybody to listen to your obnoxious Superkiller shilling.
not obnoxious.
When you didn't even have any. You weren't even close to being done.
What do you mean?
You made it extremely public.
Oh, yeah,
Every
it's a
fucking
public
week.
project I'm working on.
Every fucking week trying to extract money from people.
No, I didn't do it every week. Okay?
You did it more than every week.
Now, a good point, though, is brought up here in a sec. I hope we get to it.
No, I didn't do it.
Even
more than
Destiny
every
was like, what do you do? Just shill your comic? And you're like, yeah, it's funny. I just shill it constantly. And then
I'm excited.
And then when it came time to fulfill it, it was everyone is bothering you about Superkiller.
I don't think that's.
It's everyone else's fault for asking for a fucking refund. And you think it's glib and it's funny to you that they want their money back, but they really do.
And
they
I'm-
really
okay.
want their fucking money back, and you have been a glib piece of shit about it for a year.
I don't think I've been a glib.
You have been a
piece of shit
glib
about it.
piece of shit about refunds. People fucking hate that. People
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
fucking hate
Yeah, normally people do hate when a guy just is a thief, steals from them openly, then laughs about it on a podcast.
I have given refunds to people.
Not
and
enough.
Okay.
They're still asking, and you're still being a glib cocksucker about it.
Okay. Look, I'm giving refunds.
But you're
okay?
not. This is a lie. This
It's
is
not a
another
lie.
lie.
What do you mean it's a lie?
You lie about this every fucking week.
I'm
You
not
lie about
lying.
refunds. How many did you give this week?
I have to. What do you call it? Because I can't.
0. That's
Ooh, that's bad. He needed to say a number instantly there. Okay, so now he's on the back foot.
that's what I thought.
I have to do it through PayPal. I have to do it one at a
it's
time.
easy to do.
No, I have to
It's
do it.
easy to fucking
I have
do.
to do it one person at a time. It's a time-consuming process. I just got to set down a day, and I'm gonna have everybody's thing, and I'm gonna do it.
Right.
I
Right,
didn't
right. Yeah.
have time. I'm editing a video this week. Whatever. It's $30 sitting in a fucking account. It's not going
It's
anywhere.
nothing to you.
Yeah, you can't say that. Is insane to say that. It's just $30. What do you care? Who cares? It's just your $30. The guy I'm not returning to. By the way, how many people? 500 people. How many people is it?
Okay.
It's not important to you.
It is. Well,
Exactly.
Giving you your money back. I mean, yeah,
it's not. It's not important to you.
I guess not.
Yeah,
no.
it's not.
Why
It's
would
not.
It's not at the top of my list of things I got to do this week. Is make sure a guy gets $30 back.
Because you can put the comic out and say, fuck you, you got it. Right?
no, he's getting whatever. If
That's crazy. That should be at the top of your list.
you really want your fucking money back, you get your money back. Who cares?
Yeah.
Whatever. It's $20. It's 30.
Well, it's $20, $20. It's $15. $5. It's only $5. I mean, I give back $2. Why? Are we in such a rush for $1? Really?
$50.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
a glib piece of shit
About the refunds.
about the
Yeah.
refunds. I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
You agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
I'm a real piece of shit.
About the refunds, yeah.
Well, because I'm only doing a little, again, I'm not supposed. You're not even supposed to have refunds. The fact that I'm offering it is just me
What do you
being
mean
like,
you're not supposed to?
Now, he's not wrong about it. You're not like, it is that's what makes it so shitty is you give to one of these crowdfund things. There is no expectation of a refund. 0. He really isn't. You should do it, but he is right here.
There's
no
no supposed to.
crowdfunder does refunds. Very rarely is that a fucking thing. The whole point of crowdfunding is that it's a
true,
project that you back.
The whole point of crowdfunding is that you get money without working. Is that right?
I've obviously worked.
Not obviously. There's no comic.
Okay.
How is it obvious?
And by the way, he doesn't draw anything. Like, okay. Vito doesn't draw the comic.
Yeah.
What is the holdup? Where is the money even going? He gets another guy to draw. He buys a guy to draw it, okay, which is fine. Comics have writers and pencilists and inkers and colorists and letterer. Like, there's 15 guys that make a comic book sometimes, and then sometimes it's a guy. Vito is like the least important part of the comic making process. I've read the comic, which means the comic is written, which means his part is done. Where's the comic, Vito? Where is it? I'm starting to believe that somebody else wrote the world's most obvious idea for a, subversive comic book character, and they made their own superhero killer character, and their super killer killed your super killer. That's the only explanation at this point.
I don't know.
Well, you've been thinking about it? You didn't draw it.
I have been thinking about it.
Right,
I did draw it.
I'm going to call Eric here in just a second.
Where's that then?
It's the storyboard.
Yeah. I want to hear one thing off of this, and then we're going to call Eric.
So see the storyboard.
Okay, so it's obviously you deserve the money.
I don't think I deserve the money. I'm making a thing. I mean, what is the critique?
He was going to say, what do you want me to do? And then he realized the answer to that would be make the comic book. And so he had to stop himself.
It came out. It got delayed.
It didn't get delayed.
It got delayed.
You didn't put it out.
There was a lot of, what do you call it, in the process. Everybody hates when we talk about this anyway. Look,
everyone hated it when you were shilling it too, but that didn't stop you.
I don't think they hated when I was shilling it.
Yes, they fucking hated it.
Okay, so let's just never talk about it on the show then. That's fine.
No, not now.
Okay, so we talk about it every episode.
Not now that it's a distraction.
Look, guys, it's going to be great, and I'm excited about it. What do you want? How do you want me to talk about it?
Vito, be a man. Bring up the personal shit Dick does not want you to bring up. Now's the time. Start doing it. Go to Twitter and do it live during the show.
Want me to say I hate it and it's bad?
I don't give a shit how you talk about it.
Okay, well, if I talk about it, I'm going to say I'm excited about it because I am.
In the chat, they're going, make the comic.
Yeah. And it took too long, and that sucks. And I think the next one's going to be a lot quicker, and that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, I look forward to it. It's going to be great.
How's the silly pants skating routine going?
All right, here's what I wanted to hear. Yeah, Dirk, I see your look of confusion. I'm going to explain.
Yeah,
this is exactly the moment I wanted to hear. And then we call Eric July. Eric July live on the show. Tweet out the show. Share that show. Hit like. Eric July on in just a second. Silly pants skating routine. Here's the thing. Mr. Masterson here is Mr. Hypocrite because Patreon. Dick, still on Patreon. Patreon lets you do sort of a crowdfunding style gimmick, which is have goals set. When he started the Dick Show Patreon, he set a goal. And the goal was if they hit 1,000 followers on the Patreon or whatever the number was, he would do a silly pants skating routine, which I believe just involved him being gay, doing an ice skating routine. This is a choice he made because he's a gay guy, but he never fulfilled it. It's been 9 years.
Fuck.
9 years. Vito's comic book got nothing on the silly pants skating routine. Well,
I know.
Did it seem like a good idea to bring all this stuff up now, Dick? Bold move, Dick. Let's see how it works out for you.
Good. It's going to be great.
How's the silly pants skating routine going?
I know. It's so funny.
What? You have...
That is not a response to that. That is nothing.
A Vito response almost.
Right.
Commitments that you've made to your audience that you don't keep.
Silly pants skating routine.
Apparently, it's a thing. I don't even get it.
It's like retarded.
It was your idea. You could write. You never have to do an episode of The Dick Show now. Congrats. Oh, I said I was going to do a show in exchange for your Patreon, but it's retarded. Why would I?
It's like
I don't know what it is.
It's just something you say.
It's just something everyone tells me is important to them.
See, and this is, you shouldn't have admitted that, Vito. You never should have said you didn't know what it was. You had him. You had him, and he didn't know what to do. He did that thing where he dismisses it with no response, which is what he always does. You fucking had him.
One tells that you.
I get a lot of messages going, you got to hammer him about that.
It's like fucking retarded.
It was your retarded idea. Just like it was your retarded idea to start fucking with Eric July out of nowhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm calling Eric July. We'll be right back. See you to Dirk and Chris, by the way. We'll be right back after this. Later. 1 second. Calling Eric. Eric July on the show. Share that show.
Support the show. Join the Pizza Fund. PodAwful.pizza.
Pizza.
Oh, I think we got it.
PodAwful.pizza.
1 second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, yes, oh man, perfect timing, right as I end the commercial there. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the program for the first time, Mr. Eric July. Thank you so much.
What's up, brother? I appreciate you having me, man. Big time.
I appreciate you being here. Happy to be here, of course, and also I appreciate you tagging me in that tweet. That was fun.
Yeah, I know, man. I saw you talking about it earlier. I reached out to you and I had to kind of apologize about that because, yeah, I know your mentions got rated there.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. That's my favorite kind of thing in the world. So
there you go.
Listen, I know that you don't want to really even do this. Like, I know you don't want to do this on anybody's stream, not just mine, but you told me, you said, I get the exclusive. It's happening here. I think maybe the first thing we do is explain to the folks out there why it happens here and why it happens now.
Well, it's happening here because a lot of, for sure, let's just call him the cow for the sake of this show, but a lot of the stuff that I said about him, obviously that had come from a lot of the stuff that you had put out there, right? Yeah. So I figured that it was only right that, you had been pretty much ahead of the game on this guy. I figured it was only right that if I'm going to talk about it, might as well be you. So made sense to me.
So true. Thank you. Thank you, King. So listen, I mean, let's be real. Like a little while ago, I DM'd you just out of nowhere, and I said, "Hey, listen, I happen to know some stuff. I got some fun ideas for you." I could tell you didn't listen. I was very good friends with Maddox, and I went through everything that Maddox went through. I was there with him as it happened. All right. I was literally for a long time the only guy on Maddox's podcast network. The network was me. So it's just a dude. So I was there and I had to see everything. And I watched him as he chose the high road. And I think you did that for a long time too. He chose the high road and he tried not to talk about anything. And I watched as that failed spectacularly for him. And I told him early on, this isn't the way. This isn't going to work. He's going to poke and poke and poke until he gets something out of you. And you got to be ready with whatever is the most devastating thing to him, which of course, he knew Dax very well and they knew each other in real life. So he had all this stuff ready to go and he was too good of a guy, I guess. I mean, that's literally what it is. Whether people like that or not, that's what it was. So I saw it happening with you and I'm like, this dude, and I'll just tell you right now, I don't know anything about this world. You know that. Yeah. I don't know. I've never read your comics. I don't know what Comicsgate is. I literally have no clue what any of these things are. I do love comics. I have an appreciation for them. I used to, draw myself and be an artist in that way. And, but this is totally alien to me. My only connection to this is the Dick Masterson stuff. And so when I saw like this guy, Eric, I don't know if he knows this yet or not, but Dick is trying to turn him into his new Maddox. He's wrung every bit of juice out of Maddox and he needs a new guy because he's nothing without it. Right. And so I just provided you a little bit of ammunition. That was just
no lie. You did for sure. And look, I held on to that for a very long time because to your point, tried to ignore it. Like I for sure have tried to become definitely a better professional considering the company's growth and then the direction that it was going, and it just made sense for me. So attempted to ignore it, and up until now, and I was like, you know what? Let's play the game. And dropped all of that, and yeah, here we are the next day, and apparently he wasn't too fond of that, but oh well.
That tweet was so good and so fun. I loved it. I didn't even. By the way, I was reading the tweet and I didn't know I was tagged in it when that was like a special surprise for me. Yeah. When I got to that point, and I was like, yes. Oh my God, he even hit him with the juju. He's talking Craigslist. He's talking Burning Man. It's all happening. It's finally here. So that was a lot of fun. I know that's probably pretty pent up for you. I know I've seen you say things before. It's not like you've never clapped back at him, but it was clear that this was like a moment. Now, what I would like to do, especially because my audience doesn't know all this stuff either. I'm not the only one in the dark here. Explain to me and explain to the folks out there how we're here. Like I understand you're a comic book creator and you've made. You were watching the show before. I have to just go ahead and start with. Maybe your comic sucks. I don't probably not. Maybe it does. But you did the one thing that nobody does, which is fulfill the comic. It's never been tried before. And it seems like it's pretty fucking successful. Maybe. I might be wrong about that, but it seems like people are buying it. And I think, if I had a feeling, that is the thing that irks Dick the most about this, is that you're not, no matter what he does, you're still selling shit. So how did we get here? How did Dick get into your life?
So, all right. I guess for starters, and this is just my understanding of it, it started with the Cow going on a panel, right?
Juju.
And he's talking with someone or a group of people about my comic, right? At the time, I believe ISOM 1 and 2 were out. I could be wrong. Maybe just ISOM 1, the first book that we had released, was out.
Okay.
And, he goes on calling it a scam and everything. And then he does this like a wall of text sort of review. And it was terrible. It's not even about whether or not he liked our book or thought it sucked. It had nothing to do with it. And I did a video. It might have been even part of a stream. I did one video. This is it. And that's no lie. That's the lore behind it. One video where I actually read the wall of text. I didn't even mention who it had come from because it wasn't important. We were talking about what was actually being said, and it was clear this guy had no idea what he was talking about. And I broke that down, and apparently that in itself like bruised his ego so much that he just declared an all-out war on me. But that's what seemed to start it. It was one video that I did, and it was pretty even keeled. Like I was still very much in my like content phase, right? Still doing YouTube stuff when I covered that, and that was it. It was just one video going through it all, and then he just went absolute ape after that. And he's trying to recruit all these people to essentially attack me. But yeah, that's where it all come from. Just me. I guess you can consider it a critique of his critique, and that was it.
Yeah. All right. So let me ask you this then. You said he was claiming it was a scam. Obviously, if I'm in your shoes at that point, that's the part I'm taking issue with. If I know I'm not scamming people, I'm going to be upset about that. Why did he think you were scamming people? What was that?
Honestly, it was so incoherent that I don't really know why he thought it was a scam. He just kept saying that, it looks like a scam. It looks like a scam. And this was before he had read it or anything or claimed to have read it. And yeah, that's what he said. And I was like, again, I didn't even address that largely at all. It just went to that one video that I did. And that he took great exception of that to the point to where I was on someone else's Yellow Flash. I was on his podcast, and he ended up coming on that to discuss this, and he's screaming again. I believe that's still live out there, and he's screaming and yelling about all of that. And it ended with him basically apologizing and me not accepting it. And I guess that rubbed his ego even more, or burned his ego, or whatever, what have you. But yeah, it's hard to understand what exactly he considered a scam, because to your point, if someone dislikes the book, great. If they're not a fan of it, great. But one thing you cannot say is that I didn't deliver on it. I absolutely continue to. We're up to almost like 20 books now.
That's how low the bar is with crowdfunded comics. And I'll say this. And this kind of sucks. This sucks for me even, but my knowledge of your comic book is from the critiques of it.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the things I've seen are the things that people are, pointing out that they think is a problem or is bad, what have you on it. And as an artist, sometimes I look at it and I go, all right, fine. Sometimes I look at it and go, this is like what the mainstream comic books are doing now. Like one of the big things they talk about is the 3D asset thing and all that kind of stuff. It's like they're doing that at Marvel. I don't know if you're doing it or not, but even if you are, they're doing that at the biggest name places. They're not drawing, like I've seen big mainstream comic books in modern times where the backgrounds are visibly like a slightly photoshopped photo they grabbed off of Google Images. And let's not act like for years there weren't, guys. I mean, this is me saying this isn't you. Maybe you don't want me saying something like this, but let's not act like there's not guys in the industry that have giant swipe files where they've been stealing poses and tracing shit for years. Greg Land. And, there's lots of, I know this stuff to some degree. And so when I see these things, the one that got me was the AI thing. All right. I got to ask you about this because there's like this one, I wish I had it here in front of me, but there's this one image where it kind of looks like a character had an extra finger. Yeah. Now, the classic thing with AI, of course, is it doesn't know how many fingers to do and blah, blah, blah. Right?
Correct.
And I looked at it and I go, yeah, this is weird looking. And then you showed the pencils.
Yep.
And the pencils didn't have it. And I go, well, did they go in and erase? I mean, is he really going to go to that kind of trouble? Is this a lie where he's going and erasing it and redoing it or whatever? I was like, well, wait a second. That doesn't make any sense. There wouldn't be a pencil if it was AI.
Yeah.
And then, I think the average person doesn't realize that, like, there's a penciler and there's an inker.
An inker, correct.
And correct. If I had to guess in this scenario, the inker might have made a little mistake.
Yeah, for sure. The inker could have done a little bit better. And what it looks like the back of it's hard to explain if you haven't actually seen it, but the character is holding both of his hands together, and the hand that's behind almost looks like it's inked with the hand that's in front, right? But Joe Bennett was the penciler. He's a professional. Obviously, there's no AI. We don't do generative AI or anything that we use here at the Rippaverse. And the pencils show that no, it had nothing to do. It wasn't a sixth finger. It was just that the back hand made it kind of look like that. But I did show the pencils. We showed Joe's pencils. And look, it's stuff like that when there is like something that could be done better, for sure, I take that information back to my team, and we're like, okay, what can we do to improve on it, make sure that this doesn't happen going into the future, or make sure that it's just far more clear. But it was never an issue of like AI, and the pencils proved that for sure.
Listen, as a guy who used to draw his own comic books and stuff, and very interested in graphic design and that sort of thing, I take this kind of stuff seriously, but I'm also not one of those people who's 100% anti-AI, where even like, to me, even if AI was used, but a guy still drew something using that, how is that different than looking at like a pose a model is doing or something? Like, it's the same thing. People do this all the time. I think your average person doesn't understand that sort of thing. And again, maybe there are real criticisms and worthwhile things, but that's one that I saw that blew up on my Twitter timeline. A guy who doesn't follow this at all. I saw that. And, when I was promoting this episode, I, of course, started getting the guys who hate you. And they're real. I mean, let's be honest. They're really just fans of Dick. They don't hate you. They don't know you. But they're really just fans of Dick Masterson, which is crazy because it also means that they're really just fans of Maddox. That's how we got here. And these are some of the most, brain larvaed freaks that exist. You're following a guy who, again, sexually dresses as a cow. I can't say that enough. So I realized, I hadn't made a thumbnail for the episode yet. And I realized I'm starting to get all these hate comments in my mentions now because they're like, you better grill him on this stuff. I'm like, I'm honestly not even that interested. I'm more interested in talking shit about Dick Masterson. This is where my interests lie.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, how do I fuck with these guys a little bit, right? So I made a thumbnail for the episode. And people who even don't like you, I went to their profiles, I looked, people didn't like you. They were saying, one guy even said specifically that the thumbnail I made, that's better than any Rippaverse, any Eric July comic book, which is like, that's just they're lying, but they're, I wanted to test how good are people's eye on this. This thumbnail I made for the episode is AI. Okay? This is AI. And it got all the fingers right. And now I'll be honest, I'm a little bit of an artist, so I did draw the faces. The faces are me. But other than the graphic design elements and things like that, every single aspect of this, the hands, the feet, everything is AI. And you look at this thumbnail, by the way, it's obvious. Like, look at the fucking background on this thing. Everything is like indecipherable garbage. Just like, it doesn't make sense. The second you start picking it apart, this doesn't make any sense at all as an image other than the main characters, because I did draw part of those. So people were asking me, who drew this? I had a bunch of comments before the show. Who drew this? Who drew this? I'm like, robots. I don't know who fucking they might have stolen it from a Rippaverse comic for all I know. I literally typed in like a guy that looks like Eric July,
easy enough.
And it kind of got it. And that's why just to address the that aspect of this, the main difference in all of the criticisms I see, they're all very amateur criticisms, right? In that and this is not me, again, maybe your comic sucks. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is not me. I'm not ball washing here. I'm saying what I've seen. And what I've seen are a bunch of people who know nothing talking a lot about a subject they know nothing about. And these people, what's easy to forget here is, in the same way that I said, like, these major studios do a lot of the techniques that you guys are accused of using here. The difference between those studios doing it and you doing it is your comic is being put under a microscope in a way that no comic, like the most famous comics of all time, people aren't looking at every errant line from Jack Kirby or whatever, some inker named Pietro that nobody even really remembers and they don't know every little detail of every panel like they do. They're looking for anything. And there are probably some issues, but there's issues in every comic book. And this is what I don't get is why. So talking about the thing where these are people who know nothing. What the fuck does Dick Masterson have to do with comic books? How are we here? This is what I don't understand. This man does not read comics. There's no way. I don't believe it. He's trading Pokemon cards for some side money, apparently, and getting real upset that that's being revealed about him. But this dude, I don't think, read a comic book until you made a comic book.
No, that's probably true.
Why is this happening? Do you have any idea why this is happening?
No, it is. Again, I think we talked about that in that he needed someone else to latch on. The guy's just all around just boring, right? And he needed some content, and there I was. And you bring up a great point, and some of my employees, they've talked about it and calling me like the most scrutinized man in comics because even for example, the artist of Isom, he has done work for the last like 20 plus years for DC using the same exact techniques, to your point. Hilariously enough, and this is the first time I've mentioned this on this show, because again, I don't talk about this stuff a lot, but one of the guys who is a former pro that talks about me a lot did a comic book alongside Cliff Richards where he was using the same techniques. And so the funny part about it is that that's not really an issue with them. They don't care about Cliff Richards utilizing 3D assets as a reference point. Everybody's doing that. It's worse in manga, which dominates.
Yes.
Dominates the West in terms of sales.
And by the way,
stuff.
I fully admit I don't like that. I personally don't like that. Most people don't give a shit. I hate it as somebody interested in art, but And again, I'm trying to be fair about this. I see people saying like, "Oh, let Eric defend his own thing," but these are my thoughts. All right, these have been my thoughts for the little bit I've known about this the whole time. When it comes to the 3D asset thing and all these things that I think what people dislike about it is that they're looked at as shortcuts. Mm-hmm. And shortcuts are taken. And they're going to be taken. And there's a very important reason why they're going to be taken. Somebody in chat said Vito, who has never made a comic book. Let's be very clear. A guy who talks about you a lot and your comic book has never made a comic book. And that doesn't mean you have to make a comic book to be able to criticize one. That's of course not true. But he acts like he has made one. Vito needs to understand this very simple thing. Shortcuts are taken because people who actually make shit and sell shit need to get it out by a deadline.
Yeah.
They're not trying to steal people's money. And so the reason the mainstream comic book people use these same shortcuts is because they're making one every week. They've got to make it. And maybe, just maybe, if Vito stopped fogging up his glasses and crying over what you're getting up to, and maybe if he utilized a single 3D asset, I'm saying this is a guy who doesn't like that, maybe the people he stole the money from wouldn't be so mad and they'd have a comic book in their hand right now. I don't get it. I don't get why Dick Masterson involved himself in this. It can't be that lucrative for him. Like, I get it with Maddox. I understand why he was involved in that. That made sense for him to be a part of and do. You're a guy. You're just a guy. And you seem to be making a comic book that people are buying. Are people buying the comic book?
I mean, to put this into perspective, even to this day, I mean, the first 2 months of this year, we've already made $1 million. So, I mean, there's still guys buying the book continuously.
There's one thing you can do that will always end anything, any hopes, any aspirations that Dick Masterson has. It always puts him down, and it's make money. And he cannot stand to see a guy not only make money, but maybe even make a little more money than him. Do you sell Pokemon cards ever? Or
no? Not ever been my thing.
Maybe Vito should have kept his mouth shut then. Now let's talk about Riley for a second. All right, because that's how we're really here. The last I saw of Riley, and we've been covering, even though I don't know anything about this, we've been covering the Riley aspect of this for some time. Because of my own personal history with Dick Masterson, him sending out henchmen to do his bidding for him is something I'm very familiar with. Okay. And the last video I saw of Riley, he at least claimed he was standing outside your home. This wasn't just your business. This was your house. And I don't want you to sit there and dox yourself or anything, but I do have to mention that if this was indeed actually your house, little strange, but also looked like a nice house. I mean,
my house is pretty nice. Yes,
it looked like a nice house, and there's got to be a part of Dick Masterson where you're sitting there looking at his house and then looking at your house and feeling kind of bad about it. What is this Riley shit? How did this Riley stuff start?
All right. Wow. Where do we start with that? So, look, as I'm explaining this, and I know there are people that watch your show that may be new to a lot of this stuff. You may be like, this all sounds dumb and retarded, and that's because it is. All of it's a nothing burger. It's all stupid. And even if I was making the worst comics in the world, I don't think this is quite the reaction that you think that you would get. But randomly, the guy started tagging me. I never interacted with him, to my knowledge. He started tagging me in these posts, saying that he was walking up a hill every day to get in shape in order to shave me.
What shape is that, by the way? Round?
I don't know where the whole bit came from, but that's what he said that he would do, and I ignored that largely, right? And so he ends up like he was sending out like threats to my like employees, for an example. And he was making these weird sort of videos saying that he was going to start appearing in person and doing all this stuff. Now, one of the biggest lies about this whole thing is that he got like our address, be it my address as well as our one of our warehouse address, from like him basically getting DMCA'd. That is not true. That never happened to him. And what he did do was use other people's screenshots, and I explained this before, to try to inject it like himself into this, basically trying to make it seem like, hey, these are mine. They DMCA'd me. When I guess he had like a store, because he's obsessed with me so much that he turned his entire online persona about me, right?
Right.
So what he calls himself, right.
Okay,
so what he calls himself, his logos, podcast, everything, right? It was just he is a weird, smelly old dude obsessing about me, right? And he was selling some items on, like, I think it was Teespring. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. One of those types of sites where you can just upload stuff.
Zazzle.
And make one of those types of site, but selling our logo, right?
Okay.
And he got busted for copycat for it. And that was a trademark. That would have been a trademark issue. And at no point did he get our address from that. But he used that as an opportunity to say, oh, well, Eric July is trying to silence me, blah, blah, blah. And then he's going to appear in person. And again, he was levying threats at our employees. He was.
All right,
he went to my like.
Hang on. Put a pin in that. I want to come back to the threats thing. I have to understand this part though. So it starts with Dick. It criticizing. Right. You have a response. Then he starts freaking out about it. What? Like how does Riley? This doesn't just happen. He just
injected himself into it, Jesse. That's all he did. He just randomly. I had never interacted with the guy. At least with the cow, you can say that I did a critique of his critique, and that really aggravated him. With the other guy, there was nothing that happened. He just randomly started doing these videos saying that he was walking up a hill so he could one day shave me. It's the weirdest, oddest, bizarre stuff.
Now, do you know that Dick says that Riley is his producer for his show?
Well, yeah, and this is what I was talking about when I talk about the whole pet retard thing, right? And that obviously this is, to your point, like the henchman thing where he's kind of operating through these other guys, so kind of he doesn't have to, right? So
this isn't like a natural thing that, like, clearly at some point someone said, hey, you know what you ought to do?
Right.
Okay.
Of course. So yeah, that's where all that came from. And yeah, long story short, he ended up coming to the warehouse. He came through the day. He was like, he drove by it at one point. He was shooting these random videos over there at on the far end, like on the actual street. Like our warehouse is kind of more deep in this business park. And so he was out on the street before he had come back at night. And so my security guys buzzed me on that. It's like, yeah, it's coming out back at night. He's sticking stuff on like the windows or whatever, right? It's like, you got to report this stuff because this guy's being really weird. He's appearing at stuff. He's already appeared at your house. He's already bragged about going to your house. Now he's appearing at your place of business.
This is important to point out that, like, he's specifically saying he's going to do something to you by show.
Right.
It's not just he's there. It's not just he put a sign. They try to act like, oh, he put a sign up and that's all it is.
Right.
He's saying he's going to physically do things to you. By the way, Vito is in my chat right now. Vito had a meltdown about this guy saying he's going to show up to his house. So yeah, Vito had this entire thing back and forth with Riley where Riley started saying he's going to show up to Vito's house. And so I don't understand where Vito, where Dick Masterson, where Riley, any of these people get off on any of this, because I got to tell you, all of these little moves, other than the part where Riley's like literally saying he's going to harm you, basically, and threat, like these actual threats, other than that, all of these bits he's doing are things I've done to Dick Masterson in the past. This is he's just doing PodAwful. And one time a guy showed up to Dick Masterson's house. Now, this was not on my orders or anything. I didn't know this guy at all. But one time a guy showed up to Dick Masterson's house and recorded it and got him. It's an infamous little clip where he knocks on the door and Dick answers. And then he says, he just calls him an F slur and a simp or something like that. And Dick's response is, "Oh, you're from the internet," and freaks out and closes the door. And then he made a big deal about that as if like, oh, that's crossing the line.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, isn't it fascinating that when it happens to him, it's wrong? And, you know, as this stuff started happening to you, I was like, okay, well, if it's okay for him to do that to Eric July, you know, I hired my own Riley just to test it. And you know this because you saw the tweet, but
yeah,
there was a guy who put an inflatable cow in Dick's truck and filmed it. And Dick Masterson blamed you for it.
Crazy.
How did that happen exactly? What happened with that? Did he ever take that back?
I don't know where that came from. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that, but yeah, apparently he blamed me for that whole ordeal as if I had anything to do with that, but it seemed more of him just not wanting to pin it on you more than anything.
Right. Yes,
because I guess it would probably force an interaction out of him that he doesn't want. So that was bizarre, obviously. But yeah, that whole ordeal is interesting because again, it's an example of, well, people cross the line for them and their party. Oh, it's a problem. But when it happens to me, look, I've said this before, you know, when I've told people like, look, guys, I'm at these various events. I go to a lot of cons. Anybody is welcome. That includes folks that don't like me. If you want to wait in line or RSVP to one of our meetups just so you can tell me how much you don't like 3D assets, fine, whatever. Like, just do it the proper way. Don't go to our business. Don't go to our my house or doing anything crazy like that, and you'll be okay. But especially when I have employees, and this is why be it our security guys or our lawyers are like, when there's weird stuff that happens, if you don't want to be negligent, you have to report it either way that it goes. Because what happens is, because this guy is so unhinged. And I don't know how crazy he is or what I do think he's legitimately, anybody screaming like that saying that he's going to earn his murder, I think is a pretty crazy dude. He's unhinged, right? Yeah. So I don't care how much I can handle myself. I don't care how much me carrying. None of that matters. If someone's unhinged, they're unhinged. And you got to account for that because I don't want to be the guy that he does do something stupid, whether he's damaging someone else's property or actually physically gets in an altercation with someone or whatever, or just being an outright creeper. I don't want that to come back on me to where that ends up with me being sued or even like criminally liable or negligent rather, because I didn't even say anything about it, despite this guy putting it all on the internet about what he's going to do. So I've said it a million times, like if it happens again, I will do the same exact thing. I'm just a guy trying to create comic books, man. I got employees that are just Joe Blows. Jane, they don't care about any of this internet stuff, man. They just want to work, get on with their lives, man. So I'm of course taking them more into consideration than whatever internet one-sided feud that these guys have.
Riley showed up outside of some event, got arrested. Explain to me what happened there, what your involvement in that is, because everybody says that you had something to do with him being arrested. You say you don't. I'm trying to understand this.
Well, what happened out of that is because of the event of him appearing, right? He ended up like at our warehouse. That was at a previous date. Okay. That was the previous year, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
He ended up getting a warrant for his arrest because of that event, right? So he comes to again, he's not from out here, by the way. He's not from Texas or anything. He comes away from wherever he is to appear outside of this meetup. I didn't even know he was there. I'm behind this merch table. Oddly enough, he's apparently recording me the entire time, like outside on the window. So I'm like, unless I got this like Professor X thing going on and I can just summon or speaking, I don't know, the cops just appear like that. I had nothing to do with that. But he's like screaming at people outside, just being an all around weird dude to like just the customers that are just outside on the patio hanging out. And so from what I pick up, the owner told him, right, and this is what the police report says, like, yeah, he's being weird. He's creeping folk out. We don't want him here.
This isn't your venue, right?
No, I don't own this venue.
You can't have a guy trespass.
I can't trespass, right?
Okay.
Right. If it was a warehouse, that's different, right? But I can't have someone trespass at that event, right? So yeah, obviously out of that whole confrontation, I guess, the cops are gonna run your name, right? And they ran his name, and they found he had a warrant, and there you go. That's how he ended up getting arrested.
So it was for something else?
Yeah, like his and that's what was so silly about it. And if he didn't know that he had a warrant, that's not my problem at all. But That's not the venue's problem either.
Right.
But yeah, he went out there. He put himself in a conflict with the police by being a weirdo. And yeah, he got arrested because he had a warrant out because of the event of him, again, doing the whole stalking bit.
I had no idea that the actual arrest part was based on something completely unrelated to all of this. So, you know, a cop might stop you on the street, and they shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't go along with it. But if they want to ask for your ID, and they want to do that to fish to see if you've got a warrant out for you, any contact you ever make with a cop ever, they're asking for ID. If he handed it over, that's it. He had a warrant out for his arrest. It's over. That's what they're trying to do. Okay, so that's incredible. I mean, that is exactly the kind of stupid I expect from Riley. I'm shocked he wasn't, also pissing on his girlfriend at the same time. Okay, so that happens. Now but then there's some sort of court thing, and now they're saying you're ducking this court thing. What is that about?
Yeah, so because again, out of the ordeal of him being just a weirdo stalker or whatever, the county proceeded, okay, and I guess people don't understand how these things work.
Wait, let me pause you for just a second. I just want to clear this up just in case.
Yeah,
they're saying it was for a warrant that you got, like, something to do with you. Was that? Is that true?
Yeah. Well, it's something to do. So the warrant is because the state charged him, or the county charged him, because of the weird stuff of him doing the stalker bit, right? And it lists all of that in the police report. They even mentioned him doxing my house and appearing and talking about he was going to escalate. All that stuff is there. So nothing that we're revealing here is news. I don't work for the police. I can't issue a warrant. That's not how any of this stuff works. The warrant happened out of that whole situation, and all we did was report it. Whether they decided to tell us, you just keep an eye out, or they decided like, oh no, we're going to charge this guy. That's on them, right?
Okay,
that's on them after the initial report.
So the people complaining in my chat and at large right now about, it's 100% unrelated. That I'm the one who said it was unrelated. I didn't understand that. Just to be clear. Also, just to be clear, what is your art out there? You, the guy watching, what is the argument you have for this? He went there threatening people, saying he's going to earn his murder, showing up to places. Cops were called. The cops decided that he committed a crime. What problem are you having with any of it? I don't understand it, because I'll tell you this. I didn't even have, in all honesty, I did not have the guy put the inflatable cow in Dick's truck.
Yeah.
But I was told that I'm going to be under arrest for that silly prank. That's a silly prank that had no threat of murder tagged onto it. The dude who did that, in all reality, and I told this on the show before already, is a Dick Masterson fan. The dude who did that is an insane guy who thought that he's on meth, and he thought I was friends with Dick Masterson. Showed up in my Discord and was like, I live nearby him. I'm going over to his house right now. I bought an inflatable cow. And we just filmed him doing it. I didn't actually tell him to do any of this. It was all just a bit. This whole Riley thing was all just a bit. And so the same guys who think that I am legally responsible for a meth head choosing to do a thing think that a dude saying he's going to murder you should not at least maybe be looked at. But I mean, I'm sorry, but you, the normal guy out there who's not, you're not part of this internet podcast man world. You're not one of these gay podcasters, as Eric put it on Twitter. You're going to do the same shit. Yeah. This dude's making comic. I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't understand. But anyway, so
yeah, no, it was bizarre, man. The whole deal. It's like people thinking that they got you nailed down on just the truth. It is so weird. Of course we called the authorities. We contacted the authorities after that whole deal, and that's what happened. Nothing. I ignored it, and I've shown this. We've seen the receipts that show that I explicitly told the officers that I ignored it all online. It wasn't until that the guy showed up to the business, right, where I'm like, all right, well, okay, I got to report this. I can't just. All right, it's not just internet funny stuff anymore. It's just, okay, this guy's taking it a little too far. So yeah, that happened. And like as I said, if anybody's being weird, I'm going to do that. Like showing up at places that you're not supposed to be at. Like, yeah, that's what's going to happen. If smelly weird guys threatening my employees and stuff, yes, the cops are going to get called on you. I'm not trying to be this like tough guy or thug or a low impulse guy it seems like that's what they want me to be. They want me to be the guy to react and get like angry enough
do you think all this stuff has an element of racism to it?
Like, I mean, they have no problem bringing up my race all the time, so it has something to do with it. But I'm not one of those guys that likes to lean into stuff like that all the time and playing a race card. Like,
I know that's not what you want to do, but
no. On a serious note, they would have preferred me to act out, right? Like, and get myself in trouble, risk running my business into the ground because I wanted to act crazy, right? Oh, someone's threatening me. I'm gonna come see you. I'm gonna go do something to you. Like, that's not who I am. I'm not that guy, right? If you want to be goofy, I'm just going to call the law boys on you. I'm going to have them deal with it. I'm going to go about my business, man. I'm just trying to run a company here. That's it. I'm not interested in any of that. It's not anything I've ever advocated, not anything I've ever done. Like, you've never seen me when I was even doing my content stuff, doing my videos, talking about like appearing at Marvel Studios and stalking the CEO or something weird like that. None of that stuff is ever anything that I've been one to like approve of. So yeah, the whole bit is bizarre.
The thing that gets me is, and I said this on the show before, and I'm joking when I say it, but also I want to lean in on it just to make them feel bad. But there's a million, let's say you're the worst comic book creator ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a million extremely bad comic book creators. They're not talking about those guys. There's a ton of dudes out there making money. There are guys in the mainstream and by the way, I just want to point this out again in case, my audience, I'm doing the show, by the way, for my audience. Those of you who are here for just this, thanks for tuning in. But I have my own show here and my own desires. And so my audience might not understand this, or maybe you're just not into comics and you don't understand this. Eric, you don't draw anything, right? Like you're just.
No, I'm not the artist.
You're the writer.
Mm-hmm.
So Eric doesn't even draw any of this stuff. The guys who are drawing it for him are like professional comic artists, okay, which is also kind of rare. But there are tons of professional writers, professional artists out there who make crap every single time they make something. They are professional and bad. They're not talking about those. In my worldview here, my interest here is just the Dick Masterson, Vito camp when it comes to all this. I don't know these other guys. These guys only talk about you. You are black. To me, it is because you are black. Like, I've seen them, and I don't care. But I'm white. Yeah. I don't give a shit if they do this. And it might even be funny. But there's got to be a part of it where, I have seen them making fun of you, and they're like, dooba beeba booba dooba.
Yeah, hibbity jibbity. Yeah, that whole bit. Yeah, that's always a funny one.
It's like, listen, as much as I kind of don't even really believe in racism, but I do when it comes to this one topic. Okay, there is a part of me that thinks that they just don't like that a black guy is making money off of white nerd shit, which Dick isn't even white, by the way. He's Mexican, but there's a part of me that thinks that. And then also, I used to live in New York City, and comic books have not been white nerd stuff for a long time. Actually, like, black dudes and Mexican dudes love fucking comic books.
Oh, that's true.
But there is a part of me that thinks there is something with that, which is odd to me because, Dick Masterson, I don't know if you know this, he's got a big problem with racism. He hates racists. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. No, man, I don't know how he could be racist because now you're aware of his Pizza Hut commercial, though.
Yeah.
You tweeted about that.
Yeah.
And he got in trouble, of course, because he used the N-word in a joke. And that he got in trouble for that because I contacted Pizza Hut about it. Now, I don't know if you know why all of this went down, but of course, I lost my Patreon thanks to Dick Masterson. You know, I've got this website, we call it the Pizza Fund. We used to use Patreon for it, and Dick Masterson got me kicked off of there, and he did it the same way he's messing with you, which is using proxies, using henchmen, using whatever you want to call it in between, where he doesn't tell them to do anything publicly necessarily, but there's that wink and the nudge. And a normal person knows it when they see it. And this is why I empathize with you over this, is because it happened to me.
Yeah.
Another powerful, strong black man. Now, I'm just going to level with you because I know there are people freaking out about this. You're going to hear it one way or the other. And I was already planning to tell you this anyway. The real reason he got my Patreon taken down is because I was the only person that was friends with Maddox at the time. And it was a way to get to Maddox through me. And then also, I was the only guy online making fun of Dick Masterson. This is 2016, 2017. He needed me gone. This was he had a fledgling podcast at the time. He was trying to make all this money off of it, and I was a thorn in his side. Now, that's the real reason for it. But what led to it was and this is you're going to go crying into your pillow tonight at bed over this. I used the N-word in a joke. Okay. Now on a show, I said it. It was behind a paywall. It was completely absurd. It made no sense. I was literally saying it to make another white guy feel uncomfortable. Yeah. But this was too much for anti-racist Dick Masterson, Mr. Hibbity Jibbity himself. Okay. So I said
that's crazy. That's a wild story.
I said it.
No, that's funny. That is that's hilarious.
Now, I was recently given the pass, by the way. I'm actually allowed to say it now, but at the time I wasn't allowed to say it. So I got in trouble. And now, by the way, my Patreon did not get taken down because I said the N-word. Just to be clear, it was they just flooded Patreon to the point where Patreon found any excuse. And the thing they ended up canceling my Patreon over was that I used the term World War and revenge in one of my Patreon tiers. This was just flowery language. Yeah. But that's what did it. I wanted to share something with you. I thought you might find this interesting. Okay. Something specific about this that I think you'll enjoy. The episode of Dick Masterson's show where he hinted and nudged and winked at the audience to go mess with my Patreon and Maddox's sponsors, by the way. Dick says something very interesting in it. And I just think you will have a particular enjoyment of this, okay? Let's take a look at this. Get you in there, get me in there. And this is the Dick Show episode 32. All right, I've clipped a little bit of this. Check this out.
And you said, I think that your sponsors would want to know what kind of shit they're supporting.
Was this on the podcast?
No, this was on his network, but it doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who said it. It was part of the network.
Oh, okay.
Now you hear what they're doing. They're going. It doesn't matter who said it. It's part of the network. They're trying to make it. It was Maddox. It was me who said it, and the network is me. I'm the one guy. So Dick Masterson forever had a rule in a show that you were not allowed to talk about PodAwful, which is why I know that you're enjoying appearing on PodAwful because you know he can't cover this. He can't turn this into content. He cannot cover PodAwful because PodAwful talks about Juju. Okay? So this is why he's always kept my name out of his mouth and always talked around it. But they're talking about me. And at the time, he had a giant Facebook fan group and a giant Reddit group. And so all of them knew they were talking about PodAwful. All of them were saying PodAwful. All of them said, here's PodAwful's Patreon and how to do what Dick said. You just had to be there for it. Now listen to this.
Network. It's on his network. So Don Chaco brings up a pretty fucking legitimate complaint. Like, I want to clear something up because I created the term job lynch mob. And
now, are you familiar with that? Do you know that Dick Masterson came up with this term job lynch mob?
Nah.
Yes. Nah. So back on the original Biggest Problem in the Universe, he made one of the biggest problems He said it's people going to people's jobs and having them reported for things they don't like to try to get them fired. That's what it was.
In, like, is he saying that like it's a negative thing?
Yes, he was saying that was the biggest problem in the universe. It's the worst thing you could do. And it's one of their, it was one of their most highly voted things. But now, he knows in his mind that his audience, they're going to go, Dick, you're the guy who says job lynch mobs are bad. And now you're telling us to go after people's sponsors and their Patreon. So here he is justifying it before he does it.
It's gotten out of control where now it's a job lynch mob if you report like a waitress for doing a bad job. It's like, no, that's her fucking job.
By the way, me saying the N-word on my show is me doing a good job. That's basically the show. So I'm just kidding. But that's not me doing a bad job though.
A job. Let me be as clear as fucking mud here. A job lynch mob.
Which, yeah, nice. This guy gets on your case about being a bad writer. Clear as mud. I don't think that's what you meant to say there.
Is when you have an offensive opinion that people try to silence by fucking with your job.
Yeah.
It's you walking around having thoughts and opinions that don't affect anybody.
Now, how on earth do you have an opinion that you keep inside your head and someone reports on? Like, he's talking about thought crimes, but you have to say something out loud for someone to know that you have the thought. Right. I was reported for a thought crime. The thought crime was that, as if I'm serious when I said, like, I actually hate black people because I said the N-word, even though it was part of a joke, a thing that he did, man. A thing that he did too, and cost him his Pizza Hut commercial.
And then people try to silence you by taking your job. A job lynch mob is not telling sponsors that you disagree with the content of their sponsorship. That's called capitalism.
That is literally, like, is that not the most Karen fucking thing you can do?
Yeah, that sounds, hearing him say that makes sense because, again, this is the same guy that also was tagging the IRS. With us.
Yes.
So that goes with that sort of behavior. And he's also hollered any like colleague of mine that has ever worked with me. He's always trying to paint me in a negative light and tagging them and doing stuff like that. He goes along with the whole lawsuit that he tried to gay op where he's tagging like the CEO. This is very much what he tries to do with us, and he's going after people's bottom line. It's ultimately what he's describing.
He doesn't like that you make money. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's all it is. So it's okay when I guess he does it under his circumstances, but not the other way around. That's interesting.
Well,
that's interesting.
It gets more interesting. Now, you got to hear this part.
A job lynch mob is not responding in kind when someone fucks with you and your friends.
Fucking with him and his friends, by the way, is me on a private show behind a paywall saying a joke he didn't like. That was fucking with his friends, okay?
Then it's anything fucking goes. The second somebody fucks with you, you cannot respond strong enough because they went from 0 to 1. You can never go 0 to enough to raise the stakes that much.
And I know he made no sense there at the end because he has no idea how to talk, but even though that's his job. But Eric, are these guys, is Riley not fucking, maybe it's not Dick, but is Riley at the very least not fucking with you? You can never go far enough if a guy fucks with you and your friends. I'd imagine some of your employees are your friends. So
most definitely. And again, I'm going to make sure that I take care of those guys. And that's what I do. And it sounds like he's okay with that. But apparently when I do it, it's a problem.
As a boss, you have a responsibility. You have to do it.
It's by law. Like it's written in Texas code. I absolutely have to do it. Like it's not really an option. Otherwise I just open myself up.
It's one
for
thing
all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah, it's an obligation there, right? So otherwise you're negligent. So yeah, and I get that part of it. Like, and I want to empathize with those that may not have liked the move, right? If all you ever knew about me was guy that was on YouTube, he did music every now and then, he talked comic books, but there's a lot more on the line. Since 2022, when I launched this thing and started making millions of dollars making comic books, and I had other people that I had to employ, I had physical locations. That's a different animal. And yeah, as a boss, to your point, I have to do it. I have to do it. I'm going to. It's not anything that I'm even sorry for.
Right.
I'm going to do it.
All right, now it actually gets worse.
Whoa,
listen
imagine
to this.
that.
Yeah, listen to this.
That is, I just want to be fucking clear what a job lynch mob is. It's opinions.
His host is this host on the network who I won't bother mentioning. Him and his
It doesn't
minions
matter.
came
It's
after
the network. It's the fucking network is responsible.
Yeah, it's the network. It doesn't matter who it is. Who cares? Sean, who cares? It doesn't, don't say his name. Doesn't it kind of, if you're saying people should report us to our sponsors, don't you kind of need a name of the guy? But no, he wanted people to say Maddox. Now, here's the thing. You don't know this, but I didn't have sponsors. Even though I was part of the network, I specifically joined Maddox's network and told him, I do not want to have any of your sponsors. I do not want ad revenue. I want to make money off of my Patreon by doing this. I just want the exposure. And so he knew that. He knew that saying going after sponsors for the one guy that's on the network actually meant going after Patreon. I literally sold my Patreon on my show at the time by saying, we don't have ads, we don't have sponsors, we have a Patreon.
Right.
So this is all dog whistling.
This and the people involved.
First of all, if all of a sudden you got a show that you like and let's say there's a show that you don't like, they would end up going after, if you want to go after the show, you go after their sponsors. That's just how it works.
If you want to go after the show, it's like, well, why do you want to do that? There's no reasoning for it. You can't explain that beyond something was said you didn't like. That's opinions.
Right.
And Dick says, I thought that his excuse for job lynch mob was crazy before. What he says here is so unraveled. It's unbelievable.
And then the show has to refine itself.
It's not remotely the same. It is not a job lynch mob. Is if somebody has an opinion, they're walking around thinking, "Oh, marriage should only be between a man and a woman." Oh, marriage should be man versus man. You don't.
Marriage should be man versus man. I think the Craigslist thoughts are creeping into his mind right there. Marriage should be man versus man. Listen, Men Are Better Than Women is definitely a book that guy would write. That's a very interesting thought.
Hurt them for having a fucking opinion. That's the point. It's a fucking opinion. It's not somebody trying to fuck with you. If somebody comes over to your house and writes, "Hey, asshole" on it, do whatever the fuck you want to them.
Wait, whoa. Hold up. Jesse, that's the first time I've seen that. Are you for real?
Yeah, that's real. That's fucking real, man.
Of all the analogies to use, what?
That is 2017. Let me run that one back for you. Just in case people don't understand. Just in case people don't understand, this all started with Riley leaving a little "fuck you asshole" basically note on your business, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
That's
asshole
crazy.
on.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Fuck with you. If somebody comes over to your house and writes, "Hey, asshole" on it, do whatever the fuck you want to them. Because the do is the most.
Who still has a problem with Eric calling the cops? Raise your hand in chat.
That's crazy, bro.
Do whatever
That's
the fuck
wild.
you want. Now, hang on a second, Eric. Hang on. Maybe he meant like fight him, punch him. Maybe he didn't mean legally, okay? We gotta be fair.
Trying to be fair.
We gotta be fair. Let's keep listening. Maybe he doesn't mean legally.
that you can do under the law.
Oh, never mind.
Oh. That's crazy. This is the first time I've heard that, Doug. That's blowing. Oh man, I'm seeing this in real time. It's blowing mine. Like no joke, bro. That's crazy. So yeah, shout out, because that means that I was very much in the right, and you agree with me. When you go around leaving stuff on people's windows, writing stuff, yeah, do whatever you want. Like call the cops. You can do that under the law. Which one I did.
I've had this moment in this episode 32.
That's crazy.
Episode 32 of the Dick Show is burned into my memory because it's the episode where I lost my Patreon over it. And I've every time that a guy has gone to Dick's house and left something or fucked with him, that moment right there is what's in my head. And here's what he thinks about it.
That's why the law's there. Get him fired, whatever.
Get him fired, whatever. He doesn't say, get him fired. And by the way, PodAwful is my only job. It was back then. So getting me fired is killing me. Getting me, taking away my income stream, that's murder. It is. If you successfully deplatform and cancel a guy, which, by the way, Dick Masterson cried because he was debanked, because his platform got debanked. If you do that to a guy, you're taking food out of his mouth. You're taking food out of his family's mouth. And even if Dick Masterson, Dax Herrera, even if Dax Herrera's, he's got a wife and a child on the way, even though it's probably Maddox's kid. But even still, if he's going to be raising it and you try to take food out of that baby's mouth, you're trying to kill that baby. That's the way I've always looked at it. And
it's a fucked up thing to do for sure.
And and Dax's girlfriend is a very big part of the show. She helps with the show. Everybody tries to say, "Oh, she's got nothing to do with it." She is extremely involved in the Dick show. And I had on a guy, Ethan Ralph, not too long ago, who was talking about these guys. He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to say anything bad about her. I just want to be clear. What I'm saying applies to it applies to my enemies. If I was trying to get their money taken from them, I'm basically a murderer. And so if I'm trying to take food out of Dax's baby mama's mouth, which I wouldn't do that because her food, I assume, is Maddox's cum. But hang on now, Eric. You know that she used to fuck Maddox, right?
Yeah, I've grapevine.
You're aware that the only reason he's with the mother of his child is because she used to deep throat Maddox and fuck him. He basically is using this woman as a vessel through which he could spiritually, sexually bond with his god, his master, Maddox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is who we idolize. That's crazy.
Now I don't know where the cow part comes in on that exactly.
Somewhere.
Some sort of false idol kind of golden calf sort of thing going on. But yeah, here's what he says.
That's why the law's there. Get them fight, whatever. Stop at fucking nothing because they fucked with you first. It has nothing to do with silencing opinion.
Stop at fucking nothing because they fucked with you first. Now.
That's crazy.
Now, I interrupted you, Eric. I want to finish this thought. I interrupted you.
Yeah.
So you called the cops on a psycho. By the way, I have had personal interactions with Riley from years ago. He is a brain dead retard. He probably is dangerous. I mean, this guy's a freak. And he's one of the stupidest people I've ever spoken to. Okay? And he hated me simply because I was a Maddox guy. This guy's stupid. This dangerous retard shows up to your business, you call the cops. Normal human thing to do.
Yeah.
He shows up outside of another event. The venue owner calls the cops. Idiot Riley doesn't realize he's got a warrant out or knows it and doesn't think about it, gets in trouble. Some sort of court case happens. What's the court case?
Yeah. So the court case had everything to do with that, right? That whole event. And we weren't really involved at all in the actual proceedings, right? Again, it was one of those things where they saw the report. They felt like it was worth, at least to whatever extent, they felt like it was worth pursuing, right? And they pressed the charges on them. We had nothing to do with that, right? Okay. And that's why I keep trying to reiterate to people and how this stuff works. It's not like this was never a civil case. I think a lot of people got confused and they were maybe thinking like, I pressed charges or something like that. This was never a civil case in that manner. It was just
criminal case.
It was a criminal case, him versus the state or him versus the county, and that was about it. When they needed to contact us, we would reply. There was never any, and it wasn't like they were always hitting us up either, right? It was like in the rare instance that they would contact us, it was all good, right? And yeah, the case is going on. It gets to I believe January, where I even got a call from I believe the prosecuting attorney is like, hey, this is gonna happen. this said the judge did quash some stuff. So just keep in mind that there may not be anything of this, but you know, if we need to call you to the stand or whatever, just understand that that's an option. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I think like a week maybe goes by. There's a serving to 3 of our employees. Okay, and one they didn't serve because he wasn't there. Right. So if you
did
look
they
at
serve them at your place of business
at the warehouse? Correct.
So would you have been there? Would you have been there when that happened?
No,
or no?
I would have never. I don't work out of the warehouse all the time. Like, sure, of course, I go there from time to time, but you know, I don't pay these guys good money for me to be up there. Like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
Right. And same can go for some of the other guys, like Alex, as well as Andrew. They're there more than I am, but they're not there every single day.
Okay.
And Alex wasn't there at all, right? Which is why, I shared this with you, which we found out today. Shout out to the guys that despise me so much for providing us with that evidence, because we're not a part of the proceedings, so we don't have that information readily available, like court documents. And someone screenshot the court document of me not being served, right? It says unserved on it, and that they never even tried. Now, I can't make sense of that as far as why they didn't. Maybe it was because I was very cooperative. They didn't find a need to do that. I have no idea.
Let me just ask you directly.
Right.
At any point, did someone attempt to serve you and you ducked it?
Nope. Never happened. Never happened.
At any point, were you unwilling to be a part of whatever this court case would be?
No, at every point I was willing to testify. They knew that. We have contacts that show that, right? They had no issues contacting
and why
me.
And why wouldn't you want to be a part of it?
That's what I don't understand. There are some people like that were putting things out there saying, well, he wouldn't want to talk about his past. And I was like, yeah, you might find that I rolled through a stop sign when I was 19, but that's about it. Like, if you want to do some discovery, it's not like any crazy thing that I did that you're going to find. Like, I had no issues testifying out of that whole deal. I was perfectly fine with that. So yeah, like if they needed me up there to go say the same thing I had already said, stalker weirdo stalks, that's what I would have said. It would have been no problem whatsoever.
Okay,
but they
what do they have a problem? Do they have a problem with that you weren't involved now, or what is the issue?
Right, it went. You see how the post shifted so quickly, right? It went from he was very involved and all that stuff to, well, he didn't actually want to be a part of this, right? He wouldn't want to testify, anything like that. I'm like, make up your mind.
It seems like they want you to destroy this guy that they supposedly are on the side. I'm not joking around. I don't fucking understand it, man.
Right.
What do they want to happen here? Do they want Riley in trouble or not? Do they think he should be or not?
Right, and I don't honestly know that. And it's like, again, the document that people had shared out today, which shows I went unserved, there was never even an attempt, right? There would be a return. It would say return serve or unserved, like it did with Alex, for example, because Alex wasn't there. They tried to serve
just for the audience. I don't want to pull this up right now, but you posted these screenshots. There's two important screenshots that were posted on Twitter today and yesterday. And you show, it's got a list of all the people that were attempted to be served. And there's an interesting thing where you're the first guy, and it does say you are unserved. Yes. But then the guy right below you, it says returned unserved.
Correct.
Which when you look up what that means, it means they attempted to serve that guy and they didn't get him. But if it just says unserved, it means there was no attempt made.
Yep. That's exactly, you put it perfect. And anybody wants to, don't take our word for anything. You can go look at the Texas code or the procedures or whatever, and it states that.
I looked it up. I had to look it up to see if what you were saying was true, because I'm not just going to believe you for no reason.
You shouldn't ever just like take my word for it. But that's the odd thing about thing, Jesse. In that,
people in chat that were saying, so then why didn't you show up, and why were you dodging calls? What does that mean?
I don't know, because it's hearsay. They're basing that, and you can ask. This is why we haven't seen any receipts, Jesse. We'd see them by now if they existed. Some court prosecutor went on record and said that, I couldn't get in contact with these guys. They've been uncooperative. It doesn't exist. They're going based on and I think it's the Cow's podcast, someone saying, I guess that was part of his defense, maybe, and I could be getting that wrong if I don't want anybody to quote me on it, but someone apparently in their party is saying that, but it's hearsay. There's no receipts that show that.
Right. Hey, to anybody saying he's lying about this, I'm at PodAwful on Discord. I'm at PodAwful on Twitter. Whatever. I want to see it. I want to see it. I'm listening. I'm reading the chat.
I would love to see it. I would love to see that as well. Some them going on record saying it would be true. And look, I'm not even saying that. Okay, let's assume that they had a conversation with the prosecutors or whatever, like maybe the defending party or whatever, and maybe they misheard them say that. I don't know. I can't say that. All I can say is there's receipts of me being in contact with them. There's receipts of them contacting us. And there was never any instance of I didn't show up somewhere. The email, I proved it, showed it, which I shared to everybody. The only email of any of us like showing up somewhere is them telling us not to show up because there was either it was disposed of as a term that they had used, and we're like, oh, okay, cool. But absolutely, show the receipts if they exist. At Jesse, let them tag me in it as well. I'd love to see it if there's receipts of them stating that they had difficulty getting in contact with me. And this is the thing, Jesse, and this is really, really important about this.
By the way, none of them are answering me why you would not do this and why they have a problem with you not doing it. Right. I'm waiting for the answer of why it's bad that he didn't.
I don't know why they wouldn't think I wouldn't testify. But here's the thing. Even if you did take their word for it, there's nothing that shows, again, to my knowledge. Yeah, or pull it up, please, pull up. No, but there's nothing that shows that or their ability or inability to serve me had anything to do with how they proceeded, right? Whether they chose to or like, I guess, go through with the charges or whatever. That had nothing to do with whether or not they could serve me, because that was never an issue. That was never an issue. But by all means, guys, show those receipts. Other than right now, everybody's saying that, well, their party is stating that they had a conversation with the prosecutors. And that's hearsay, bro. Like, there's nothing.
Okay, they're saying it's a problem because it makes you a pussy. By the way, it's like
I'm perfectly fine with people thinking that I'm soft because I called the police.
Well, I tell you what, though. Hang on, let's
showing up at my spot.
You know what?
I'm cool with that.
No. Eric, I have given you a beautiful gift here today. And not me, actually. Dick Masterson, Juju the Cow. Okay, this is JUJUGATE. Juju gave you a gift today. He didn't mean to, but he did. He gave you the gift of you can never go far enough. True. They fucked with you first. You can't fuck with them hard enough. How about this? They want blood for the blood god. That's what it really is. That's what they want here. You're already saying you got no issue doing what needs to be done legally with this guy messing with you. And this guy is continuing to mess. I mean, this has not stopped as far as I'm aware. He's continuing to make these videos and make these bizarre threats. I feel, did somebody show up to your grandfather's grave or something?
Yeah, it showed up to my grandfather's grave, including the pet retard, at least according to his own account.
So they listen. Them, I think they left the "fuck you asshole" note on your door. All right. So how about this? Just say it right now. Would you look into the camera right now and say, live on air, if you fuck with me, I am willing to fuck your life up legally. I mean, your words. Say it how you want.
No, 1,000%, guys. And this goes for anybody that's out there. If you are going to take it that far, where you're messing with my business, messing with my employees, trying to jeopardize the business, absolutely, I will call the law boys on you. And it's really simple as to why.
And you will show up to court. You'll show up to court.
Yes, I have no problem showing
and you will
to
testify.
Tell them that you're being weird. Yes, absolutely. I will testify 1,000%. I will do that. And it's an easy, like, it's not that difficult to understand why. It's because I am not going to put my business at risk, and I'm not going to especially put my own life at risk if it means that if I do, let's say it escalates to something crazy, right? Like, I'm not saying that I know exactly what that might look like, but if it escalates to something crazy, it needs to be on record that Eric July the Rippaverse and its parties did everything to go by the book, right? So now, if something happens, whatever that is, if it escalates and business has to be handled. By the way, everybody in the chat, this is I hate to hijack your show here, Jesse. I always say this. Everybody in the chat say business. You know this is how we do. Say business. Type business in the chat, by the way. But yeah, if I have to handle business, I'm going to do that.
So you will show up. You will go to court. Up. Why was it?
The law boys asked me, could you tell them what you told us? I will sit there and say yes, and I will do it every single time. Make all the videos you want. Keep it on the internet. Make fun of me. Say the comic books suck. Say you don't like them. Nobody cares about that. You can do that, right? And make no mistake, there may be people that disagree with you. Just leave my business. Like, as far as showing up to places that you ain't supposed to be at, showing up to my house, I think that's an easy request. Just don't do that. You'll be okay. But if you do, yeah, law boys, they're gonna get called on you, homie.
We got every time. We do have business in chat, by the way.
Business in the chat. I love it. Let's go.
All right. So, do you know why was it dismissed then? Why was it thrown? What happened with it then?
I can't answer. I cannot. The only thing that I pick up from this is that, from my understanding, is that the judge, there was something that got quashed, like at some point during the trial, and that's what happened. I don't know why they decided to go dispose of this. I have no idea. And they wouldn't tell me stuff like that either. Like, the only thing they would discuss, and I'm aware of that. I will say this. I am aware that because the prosecutors told us, like, that was a potential thing, right? Outcome, right? That it would happen because of the judge and the whole quash motion or whatever. So yeah, that we knew about that, but again, it's not a plaintiff type of situation. It's not a civil court. Like, I'm not the prosecutor, obviously, in the criminal case. I'm just the guy that they would call there if they, wanted me to, I guess, kind of let everybody know my account. But that's it. That's all that would happen. So I'm not really sure. They're going to have more information about that than I am.
All right. Listen, you can never go too far. I believe that is what really needs to be said here.
I'm dead serious. You blew my mind, like, listening to that. That's
you got fucked with, and I think crazy. You're fully, 10 toes on it, behind business.
Yeah. Behind business, standing on it, and behind it,
and in front of it, actually,
and
in
front of it, yeah.
Sliding on the ops,
all the terms.
I've just been looking for any excuse to use sliding on the ops lately, so I'm happy to do that. And speaking of sliding on the ops, now here's the part that Dick Masterson and all of this didn't account for. See, you're a big, well-known guy. I don't know how many followers you got or whatever, but you're a well-known dude. And he thought PodAwful was too small for Eric July to appear on the show. See, this if this meeting right here happened on any other show, if you were saying this stuff, if you were directly telling the camera, I'm ready, go ahead, show up again, it's fucking happening. Next time you might not be so lucky, it might not get dismissed. If that happened on any other show, that ends up on the Dick show. But I guarantee you this does not get covered. Now, he'll talk around it, but there's not going to be a video. They're not going to do a bonus show about it or any of that. And the reason for that is very simple. Juju the Cow, Marie, you're gay. You went to Craigslist and Burning Man. You suck guys. Jamie Lynn Hughes, the simp texts. What am I leaving out here? There's probably so many things at this point. The lolly, the cuties, you're a pedophile. Listen, all of these things. He's not willing to do it because of me, because he now knows we've unlocked the key here. That audio clip is devastating because now that's carte blanche to slide on the ops. And the thing is, here's the deal. I've got henchmen. I've had henchmen. Now we don't know each other. You and I, we don't know each other. I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything. I appreciate you coming on the show, and this has been interesting and fun.
Yeah.
And and we've riled people up. I think we've had a good show here. I think people have really gotten upset about this, and that's what I like to see. Everybody's dying for me to ask you the tough question. I don't know what the tough questions are. I haven't seen a tough question. Every question I've seen in the chat, by the way, I've asked you. And then you say it, and then they go, well, actually, that's not good either. So here's the deal. I owe you nothing, but I'm just going to put it out there. I got henchmen. Now, am I telling them to do anything? No. But if I saw a Riley show up and leaving a note says, fuck you, asshole, somewhere on a grave, for crying out loud. I had a guy try to do that to my brother's grave one time. Wow. I see that. It turns out my brother wasn't dead, so it was fine. But he thought he was. So I'm just saying, I've heard the clip now. Pulling up is on the menu. Pulling up. Listen, Riley's got a house. Riley lives somewhere. He doesn't have a house, let's be clear. He lives somewhere. He's got a hovel. He lives somewhere. Mint Salad lives somewhere. Eric July is willing to play by the rules and go by the book, and he's going to do all the stuff that everyone's complaining about him not doing. He just said he would do.
Yeah.
I'm ready to slide on the ops. I'm ready. You can never go too far. Dick Masterson sent henchmen after me in 2017. In 2025, he's sending his henchmen after you. The henchmen can come and meet in the middle. I was the guy in 2017. I was the guy who was in the middle of a proxy war between Dax Herrera and Maddox. Okay, that's what I was. I was cannon fodder in the middle of that. I got my shit clipped because of these two guys, right? And now I got henchmen. Now I got guys. You want to do a little proxy war? We can do a little proxy war. I'll do a little proxy war. I don't care. It's just fun to me. At this point, it's sport. At this point, it's a good time. I'm only going to ask Eric July to do one thing. I'm begging you. All right? Okay. I am begging you. You got more comics coming out, right? But go ahead and throw for sure. I've got one thing to ask of you, but I want you to hit the plug real quick and tell people where to find stuff. Because I gotta ask you to do one thing.
Okay. Well, you can find me, rippaverse.com. That's where we put out all our books. It's not just me writing. For those of you that don't know, we have a talented, array. We got Saskas there, Chuck Dixon, legendary Chuck Dixon. Mike Barron's done some work for us. And we're continuing to grow. So you can go to rippaverse.com. We got all styles, genres. We also have Ripasend, which is our creator-owned publishing wing, where it's not necessarily part of the Rippaverse, and we have some, that's where the Gabriel and the Guardians thing with Angel Studios that come from, and Jay's Achromatic Chronicles series, which are all ages book. So yeah, you can go to rippaverse.com, and we love to have you. We appreciate you so much.
All right, here's what you got more books coming out.
Yep.
Right. You're always working on something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I gotta ask you this. All right.
Okay.
I am begging you to add a character to your lineup. Now, I'm not saying they got to have their own book. I'm saying like a cameo, just something in the background or something, just a little side piece. There's got to be a panel that you could fit this in somewhere, right? Have your guy throw it in there. Hey, listen, you can use 3D and AI to make this for all I care. All right. Here's what I'm asking. I invented a character, and I would love to see him in the Rippaverse.
Okay.
All right. Now, as you can see, my logo and my style here, I got the black and the yellow, which I think really lines up. Well, that's kind of yours.
That's our colors.
That's your colors too, right? So my character, he wears black and yellow. All right. Now, this is where it gets crazy. So you've built a whole world out of nothing, out of nowhere. You've built this whole world of these superhero characters, right? Well, I'm kooky. I'm a little different. All right. I do things a little differently, you might have noticed here, Eric. And my character, he's a superhero who kills other superheroes. Okay? Now, it's never been tried before.
That's never been done.
This is brand new. And his name is Super's Killer. Now, nobody's ever put out a comic book called that. And they've never put out there's no art out there anywhere on Earth in a comic book where a character that wears black and yellow, the PodAwful colors, big SK for Super's Killer on his chest. This doesn't exist. He's somewhere. Do you know the? I think is it a DC villain or anti-hero who's called the Heckler? You know what I'm talking about? There's a character. It's a kind of a random side character. He's sort of like the Heckler meets Deadpool meets. Listen, this dude. He's got swords and guns, and he's got superpowers. Now I'm begging you. All right. I don't know what we got to do to make this happen. Maybe we got to throw a few more into a crowdfund or something. Whatever has got to happen. Maybe it's a stretch goal. I don't know what's got to happen. Just a panel and a half of ISOM. He's there. He's in Flores Park, right? He's standing there, and he's like, the serious thing is going on, and then all of a sudden a guy shoots at him. He's like, "What the fuck?" And then he looks down. It's Super's killer. And by the way, this is free. I'm not asking for any royalties on this one. I'm not. This is the idea.
I appreciate that big time. This is you onto something, man. I know you say it used to be in comics, man, but with these very, thought-provoking sort of characters, man, you got to think about getting back into it, right? Yeah.
Have you ever even thought of an idea like that?
I've never even considered a character that kills other superheroes. That's never been done in comics ever.
Which, by the way, most people would just call that a supervillain, but is a brand new concept. It's a brand new concept. So yeah, he's got spiky hair and a mask. He wears yellow and black like me, and he's Super's killer, and he kills supers. Okay. You got a name? Okay. You've got a name for your guy? Like, what is it called in your comic book universe where they're like the superhero people? They've got a name, right?
Oh, Accepts. Yeah,
Accepts. He's an Accept killer. Okay, maybe he's EK on the thing. I'm just saying, there's enough panel space in there to sneak this in.
I could probably figure that out.
You got to fit that in.
You never know, man, because fans might like that completely original idea. Maybe we spin that into a series that
I'm thinking
actually gets delivered.
Maybe a team up between him and is it Gooding?
Gooding, yeah.
Yeah, him and Gooding probably would be a good pairing, or one of these guys. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it's spin-off material already, but it's something. It's something to work with, and
it is.
Maybe who's your main artist guy? Who do you?
Well, it depends. Joe Bennett's our workhorse. He's the one that's done the most books for us. There, so he's really good, really good.
Yeah, maybe talk.
He probably knock something like that out the park. Right? Yeah, he'd be all over that.
Maybe talk to Joe and just say like, do you have any like an empty corner in an upcoming panel to fill in? And it's important. Spiky hair, black and yellow, SK on there. This is my IP. So I give this, it's a gift to you.
And I appreciate that. You're a very generous man. I appreciate that big time, man.
I appreciate you coming on. Thank you, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric July. Go check out his stuff. Thank you for coming on the program.
Appreciate you having me, brother. Thank you.
See you, man.
Yeah.
And okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it up to you guys. Anybody who wants to explain to me Hi, everybody. Anybody who wants to explain to me what Eric lied about, now's your time. Don't run away. Don't be scared. I'm going to give you, I'll do a direct link here. Can I do that? I'm just going to do a direct link to our call-in. This should work. Otherwise, podawful.com/cult. I'm willing to speak to anybody, look at anything. Join the call-in channel. Join me on air here and tell me exactly what Eric July lied about. Nobody else would give you the time. This is also an open invitation now to Vito. This is an open invitation to Dick Masterson. I'm willing to hear out anybody the exact same way I just did Eric July. I got no side in this. Let's go. I'm waiting. Hello, anybody out there? Please call in. They're saying this is a joke interview, someone says. You mean on my comedy podcast where I don't give a fucking fuck about your comic book gay shit? Yeah. And I'm still willing to listen. Comic books are fine. But I just don't care. Listen, you have invested. If you are this on this guy's ass, seems like a nice guy. I don't know. If you're this on his ass about it, I need to hear you calling out all the other terrible comic book makers out there, or at the very least supporting the good ones. Sven Stoffels, The end. I don't have another person to add to the list. I don't know. Go by Butch Killigan. I need you to talk about something else. Here's your only chance to tell me anything about Eric July. It's happening right now. Hi, Erkwit.
Hey, Jesse.
Nobody. It seems like nobody wants to pull up. This is a new segment, Erkwit, we call Pull Up.
FAFO.
I'm waiting. Pull up. Where is it? Please, please, please say the N-word. I did it the beginning of the show. I said it, by the way. Before Eric was even ever on, I said it. You're typing the N-word in chat. You say it. How about that? Go ahead. Try. Sven is the man. Pull up. There's a new segment called Pull Up. I'm waiting. The call-in channel. It's been put there. PodAwful.com/cult. I'm waiting. I'll check. You know what? I'll check my Twitter DMs. I've got way too many notifications right now to go through. Learning more about Dick Masterson than I ever wanted to know, somebody says. That's funny. Thank you for sharing that. Van Skiver's embrace of Dick Masterson appears to have sent backers fleeing from Comicsgate. I don't know what that means, but that sounds exciting. I think Ethan Van Skiver is, on the same train as Dick Masterson because they both like to find guys off of Craigslist to suck off. Juju the Cow, ladies and gentlemen, JUJUGATE. This is the segment, Pull Up. I am still waiting. Nothing. Not even anything in the mentions. Nobody's got a receipt. Listen, I'm not saying I believe anything that Eric July just told me. I am saying that Dick Masterson is a gay guy desperate for a new Maddox. That's it. That's my only care about any of this. You hate Eric July so much that you made a guy who dresses as a cow and gets pegged in the ass your savior. That's the side you're on. I'm not on a side. All right? Thank you to Eric July for appearing. Hi, Lenny. Hi, Jared. Doesn't look like we're getting anybody, does it? What do you think? Is anybody going to show up?
I'm one of the guys coming in here to say the N-word.
Ladies, no. We are still on YouTube. I already did. I literally said it at the beginning of the show. Shit is corny and boring, says a guy who watches a man who dresses as a cow and does Maddox's 10-year-old bit every single week. Your opinion has been discarded. Your entire personality online and your entire life it surrounds a black man's based comic book.
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand boring on the level that I understand boring. The thought of you even typing in my chat has bored me to tears to the point where I want to end my own life. Thank you to all the Eric July people who came out. Thank you to all of the Juju the Cow people who came out to have their time wasted by me. Fuck you. And there's no more points on this list. That's it. It's just fuck you 3 times. Welcome to PodAwful, bitch. You're on the moon now. Henchman, you can never go too far. Phase 4 has been activated. Are you ready? Are you ready? Everybody got their hench suits? Don't do it, Jesse, they say in the chat room. Eric haters are cowards. I don't care. Eric haters. I don't care. All right? It was a fun show. I enjoyed it.
I gotta say, Eric is very magnanimous. He's a nice, he just comes out of all the people involved in this. I don't know if it's just me, but he just seems like the kind of guy that I'd most like to hang out with.
Yeah, other than the fact that he's black, yeah.
Other than that. CJ is in call-in. We got some guy named CJ.
Okay, we got a guy named CJ. Let's see. Does CJ have something to add about this? Hi, CJ. Hello. He wasn't ready. He didn't have his mic ready. He's not ready. Hi, CJ.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, what's up, man? You got something to add to all this?
I just wanted to talk a little bit more about Comicsgate, if you were interested in more of that kind of lore.
Yeah, you know what? At the beginning of the show, to introduce all this, I was, and now that Eric is gone, I don't give a fucking fuck about it. Comicsgate is gay, and anybody who thinks they're a part of it is also a gay guy.
I just want to talk some Comicsgate.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it now because actually it's for gay people. And I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, CJ. If that's what you're into, that's fine. Yeah, actually, what is Comicsgate?
If it's boring, it's probably pretty boring for you guys.
Yeah. It is, yes. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. That's been the show. Listen, I really, really appreciate Eric July for coming on. Thank you to the chat, everybody in chat. They're saying, hail CJ. CJ pulled up. Listen, I am now officially part of Comicsgate. I will be showing up on panels. I'm going to be on Yellow Flash's panel. Join the Pizza Fund. I don't know who that is, but I'm going to be on his panel. Join the Pizza Fund. Get all of our primo content, our bonus content, PodAwful.pizza. And until next time, have an awful day.
Dick good, Jesse bad.
Moo. 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 Wait, hang on a second. Are you pulling up right now? Are you officially, this is an official pull up?
Yeah, it's an official pull up.
This is all right, ladies and gentlemen, this is an official pull up.
It's an official pull up. This is somebody that's I've actually supported Eric July, and I've actually followed some of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind. And
oh yeah, no, I don't mind at all. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been talking about some of this stuff on my channel as well. And this is some of the stuff that, like, a lot of the reason why you're not going to get a lot of these people that are against Eric July is because they don't have anything.
Right.
They don't. And then I'm not just saying it because I support Eric. I actually, like you, I do take the time to look, and I actually support Eric July. There's no question. It's no it's no what's the word? I guess I can't think of the word now. I'm getting all camera shy, but
you're all right.
It's no secret. You feel me?
Yeah, go ahead.
And it's no secret that I do support Eric. So I'm like, like I said, I support what he does. He has something good going, and why not? When it came down to the comics and stuff like that, he's actually got something going. Right. I will make one small correction. It's not technically a crowdfund. He actually, it's a pre-order campaign. He goes into a whole big difference of the difference between the two.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mentioned something similar to that earlier, but yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's a pre-order campaign, but I've actually gone with some of the people. Vito's one of the people, and I've seen things with Dick Masterson. I've tried to like listen to them and get their points of view. They're haters at the best. They're haters at best. You know what I'm saying? And I really wish they would actually do something. Vito doesn't have anything, and like I said, I agree with your point earlier that Vito technically is a thief. You know what I'm saying? He would be a thief by all intents and purposes, because that's what he's done. He hasn't put out anything. He hasn't put out.
Right.
Technically,
you're supposed to. You're like, as a creative, and when I hit on Vito's points, it was as a creative, because I do other things as well. Like I do more of the music, I do gaming, and I do other stuff. So
sort of a SoundCloud CEO, yeah.
Something like that.
Right.
We getting there. We making it somewhere. But when I attack this stuff, I'm attacking this on a more, I guess, practical level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you do have a fan base, no matter who you are, it is your duty to provide for your fans. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
The reason why I was upset with Vito and all this stuff is that they literally, the drama farming stuff is easy content. Anybody can do it. It's flash in the pan. And this is all it is. literally all it is. It's flash in the pan bullshit.
Yellow flash in the pan.
Yeah, yeah, that too. Yellow flash in the pan bullshit, if you want to call it that. And my thing is like I try to sit back and I try to watch people, listen to them, and see what they got going. And I listened to these guys, Vito, Dick Masterson, and I was blown away by the clip about what just happened earlier. I damn near fucking wanted to take my keyboard and throw it because I'm like, what the fuck? You feel me? But it's one of those things where, like I said, I'm attacking this from a more, I guess, perspective of a creator. Like if I had that position, I want to make sure that anybody that's watching me is having the best experience possible. There's no point of making stuff that I'm not committing to. There's no point of, it'll be rude, it'll be rude of me and a waste of my, my community's time for me to create a comic book, raise almost damn near 100K, and then say, well, no, I'm good. I'm done. Oh, why are you bothering me about a fucking refund? You know what I'm saying? That's bitch made shit. You feel me? I can't put it any other way.
I feel you.
But with Eric's comic, like I said, with Eric's comics and stuff like that, even though you may not be as versed into it or interested as in it with your own thing going, one thing to note is that he is doing what he set out to do. I've actually had a chance to talk with him myself on my podcast that I'm working on. And
what's the name of your podcast?
Yeah, Emperor's Court podcast.
Emperor's Court. LG, I appreciate you pulling up here, by the way. Can I ask you real quick? And not that it matters at all, but are you black?
Obvious. Yes.
Can I have the pass, or do you give me the pass? Or
you know what? I was gonna have you go to the mail, but you know what? I happen to have an extra one on me. And I got you. I got one in the pocket. And I can send you a pass.
Thank you. I just collect them
too.
I've already got a lot. I just collect them. So
you're gonna have 2 more.
All right. Well, I appreciate. Hey, listen, man. I appreciate you saying all this stuff. I got to be honest, though. The show's actually been over for